All right, so here's the topics for tonight. So we have um, we debate number one is going to be we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. That's going to be let the water Kai is against that. Admiral Rufus is for it, and I believe that's where we're at now.
And when he did
Right.
this, and I was like, and I
And
was
so
making
what
the
he
point
meant by
that
that is at the time there were a bunch of people who feel that they speak on behalf of the black
Mhm.
culture. Can you also
Mhm.
agree with that statement? Whether you get
Yeah.
behind them or not, they definitely feel like, or they put themselves out there as though they represent that group.
Yeah, sometimes when like we're referencing black community leaders, like there was a number of like prominent black mayors of large.
I'm a judge for tonight, by the way. I'm not debating, and so there we go.
It speaks for everyone, but it just like it was largely supported, like and there was like a lot of people that came out and showed out for it. Now in hindsight, we could say there was a lot of like really bad effects, and the money that was spent for prevention wasn't like enough compared to what was spent for punishment. And three strikes is bad, and but like there were some minor good aspects, like starting the it like was kind of paired up with the Violence Against Women Act. So like all those things like together, like in hindsight, it's easier to have like a clear picture. But yeah, it was heavily supported at the time because there was a huge crime and drug
Speaking
epidemic.
as somebody who was alive at the time, I can tell you everything he's saying is true, that there was significant support from the black community. But real quick, I have a really important kind of tangential question for you that's going to be a little controversial, a little spicy for you. But Lonzo, let me ask you, do you believe that if a Japanese man had come out saying exactly the same words that Malcolm X did, that person would have been accepted by the black community in the way that Malcolm X was? Be honest.
Definitely not.
Okay. So again, while there may not necessarily be a person who represents that culture, you can definitely agree that there are people that the culture is going to be willing to get behind in a representational way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Good.
Yeah. I was going to say that.
Now try having that conversation with Roddy.
I tried. You know what? Matter of fact, let me speak on something else. I tried to speak to Roddy. I messaged him earlier. He messaged me, and I was responding to this. He sent me a very long thing about. Let me just give you the two names he gave me here, which was about Jose Illegal and Joe Legal, and it was about a illegal immigrant and a legal citizen. I'm assuming probably not birthright, but a citizen born here, like parents generation. I can't remember what that's called. But either way,
natural born.
Yeah, natural born, like I myself am. So when he gave this, I was like, because I made the statement that I don't see how immigrants, even illegal immigrants, harm me in any way, shape, or form. And then he gave this thing about how illegal
you went with the
immigrants.
jobs thing.
Yeah.
Jobs,
and then also
jobs,
not the jobs
and freeloading.
The freeloading one was what he went with, which I have to say is completely incorrect. Like I don't even have to like the whole thing here that I have to state about this is that illegal immigrants do not claim food stamps. They do not claim free healthcare. They do, and the reason I know they can't claim these things is because I myself would struggle to claim these things, and I actually fit the requirements for it. But the reality is that they don't even have social security numbers, so they can't claim this. And if you're going to say that they might have a social security number that they faked or whatever, which okay, sure, I want to see you pull that off.
Sure.
Let's say that they do have that
0.001%, but yes, it
that's
can happen.
the point. Do you think 10 million illegal immigrants in this country are capable of pulling that off? You think there's just tons of illegal immigrants going in there with fake social security numbers, barely speak English into these offices, and then saying, hey, I would like, well, I don't know how you'd say it in Spanish, but I want some food stamps. and they're just saying, oh, okay, sure, you're illegal, so here you go. No,
It would have been
that's
so
not
much
happening.
more powerful if you'd have dropped that in Spanish, just so you know. For what it's worth, and I have said this to Roddy countless times, he lives in a Ben Shapiro fever dream. Like, he really does take everything from that side's rhetoric full cloth and just swallows it whole. And so no matter what, like, and Chief will tell you, this was a theme early on in the stream where I would dog walk him through all of the evidence, all of the facts, and I would show him that he was wrong. And then at the end, maybe I might get a shrug of the shoulders or a maybe or an I guess. And then by the next week, it was right back to it. So yeah, again, it's where I started saying you can lead a horse to water, but sometimes you just got to drown the motherfucker. That's you know what I mean? Like there comes a point where you just have to throw in the towel and be like, okay, cool. So you're not the one. Best of luck.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I personally know I understand that how easy it is for like conservative beliefs to be like just instilled in. Like I said before, I was decent bit conservative. I'm still a registered Republican for a reason. I mean, I started off at that point, and I was
because
like,
you live in Florida.
Red state, just red states. You know what I'm saying? Reactionary thinking is just the fundamentals. And what's worse for them, honestly, is that being raised in a red state it's I think I heard to say this not long ago, but they said like Republicans or conservatives raised in blue states are way more like aggressive and like hostile and insane in their beliefs.
Never heard that, but I believe it.
Than conservatives and Republicans raised in red states because
probably because they're constantly under attack.
Yeah, and I'm the opposite of that.
Oppressed.
I think I'm the opposite in that because I was raised in red states. I moved to red state, lived entire life in red states, and it's I get like the reactionary thinking of it, but then it's like I'm black, man. I can't, like I bought into it for a bit, but it's like at the same time, it's like, what is all this anger towards different groups for? Like even when I had slightly conservative views, I never was like, man, women need to listen to me and I needed to control them. I was like, even with my exes, I was always like, yeah, do your own thing. I don't want you to be like, you know what I'm saying?
We could get into some deep psychological, sociological explanations for that, but it would be the rest of the stream. So with that said, speaking of, is it possible to, hey, there's that beautiful face. Can I get some sort of a camera from the two of y'all? We just got one more person coming in just so everybody knows. And hopefully it's going to level out there. Yes, Lethy, it's because you're on the negative prompt, dude. Anyways,
I was hearing all blonde white women look the same, so I just was trying to see exactly what level.
Okay, look, I did not say that. You showed me a picture of a lady who looked remarkably like the chick that stands at the fucking podium, and I even gave you an apples to apples comparison. And if you're gonna look me in the eyes and tell me that she does not look like the other one, man, I'm gonna call you a liar. No, I don't even.
No, you're gonna call me a troll. I wouldn't be a liar.
Okay, fair enough. No, it's some rapper named Wynne, Wynne, and the first time I looked at her, I can't look her up. Wynne. She's actually kind of fire. I'm not gonna lie. But she looks identical to. I can never remember the bikini chick's name. What's her name? The press secretary.
Iggy Azalea.
No, get the fuck out of here. But by the way,
just more
thank you
racism.
for turning off that. No, what's her goddamn name? She's got 3 of them. I think it's hyphenated. Who's the lady that stands at the podium and lies? What's her fucking name?
AOC.
The Republican Party? AOC?
You're talking about Trump's press secretary. Let me get her name.
Yeah, I can't. No, it's not Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem.
Kristi Noem is the director of national security. Caroline Levitt. Yes.
Level it. Caroline Levitt. By the way,
Caroline Levitt.
And calm your hollering again, brother. All right. So one more. No, you're good. One more person coming in. So everybody out there in chat, just so you guys know, I'm going to drop the link to that first poll. This is for the first debate. If you guys want to go ahead and get those votes locked in. It looks like we don't have anybody else who's streaming tonight, except hopefully Gorps is going to show up. I don't know if he's going to be streaming.
I'm currently streaming.
Oh, are you? Would you like to touch tips and share chat?
Nobody's streaming.
Would you rather?
Got it.
All right,
got it.
Let me.
Gorps is already streaming.
Is he already live? Cool.
Yeah.
Well, then he will get the knock as well. Invite guests. We will.
I'll start streaming as soon as they stop threatening to lock me up.
Good luck with that.
I've been live for like
did you
3 hours already.
On Twitch or just on YouTube?
Yeah, on Twitch.
Oh, I didn't know you streamed on Twitch, man. I would have given you I would have followed you a long
That's
time
all
ago.
right.
What is it under the same name, Grid One?
It's an unreasonable man. Let me see.
Unreasonable man.
Where is my?
Love the background, by the way.
It'd be a great debate if that's the case.
By the way, I would like to introduce everybody out there. This is Grid One Motorsports. I guess we just call him Grid, or an unreasonable man up here in the top right corner. He's going to be standing in to judge for us tonight. He hosts his own debates over on YouTube and apparently on Twitch. I didn't know this. He does something a little different though. He does impromptu debates where basically it's like quick little 6-minute, 7-minute, he just grabs two people, throws a prompt at him, and figures it out. Which I can only imagine is so much less stressful than the bullshit I put myself through every 2 weeks. But that said,
for who?
Touche for him.
Well, Ancom's been there. He did my nerd
Ancom and Lefty.
Yes,
so did Lefty. I know
I've been on your nerd debates. I don't want the stress of your political debates.
Yeah,
I'm not. I'm okay
coming up on
over
round 3 of
Nerd
Nerd
Wars. So good. Let us know when it's going to happen. You'll have a whole bunch of us, I promise. But excellent. I will keep showing up every Friday that I'm not streaming to represent the server in politics. So, but as this continues, like I said, I would like to bring some of my teammates here and come over there and debate some of your teammates. Because
are any of you guys going to DebateCon?
I do not believe so. I thought about it, but Tennessee is literally the opposite side of the country.
I have a functioning nose. I can't be in an area like that.
What, in Nashville?
West Coast.
Nashville's
he's making a joke about debate nerds, I believe, implying that they smell like Fritos and cheese, kind of like comic book nerds.
I don't know if I'd say implying.
Okay, well, fair enough.
We're down. So we need some lefties to debate. In my, I'm putting on an event, an opener, if you will, the day before DebateCon starts, and we're going to have. I'm looking for debates for Rob Knorr and Fabian Liberty and a couple other guys.
Jesus Christ, those names. I can handle
is
that.
there any chance you would be willing to accept remote debaters? Because I can't make it down there physically, but I could potentially do.
No, these are going to be live streamed IRL debates. I've rented a venue for it. It's a big party. It's free food. Matter of fact, my part of the event is entirely free. You just show up. I'm paying for everything. We got food. We got soft drinks. I don't drink, and so I don't buy other people alcohol. But you're welcome to bring your own.
I would only go if I was allowed to debate Rob Knorr while staring directly down at him the entire time.
Are you that tall? He's not that short.
I'm 6'4".
Oh yeah, you're taller than he is. So,
real quick, Grid, if you would be so kind as to in any chat, give me in the well, I guess it would have to be in my chat because I'm having troubles finding you.
Okay, so, yeah, give me 1 second.
Absolutely.
I don't even have Twitch open right now. I mean, I have it open, but not.
I didn't get a knock. How do I get my knock?
Yeah, I sent you the knock. Now. Did it not knock?
I don't know how to.
Oh, it should be under your in the top right corner. You should if you're on your Twitch dashboard, you should see your notifications box. And if
where is the
notification box?
Where is the event?
Tennessee. Tennessee.
Nashville, I'm assuming.
Slightly south of Nashville.
There you go.
But general Nashville area, I assume.
Yeah, close enough for sure.
Yeah,
I'm
not close enough for that to be a trivial thing, so I can't make it.
Exactly.
If I can stare straight down at Rob Knorr, I will leave California and go to whatever horrible southern place I'm forced to go to.
What's your million? Ain't nothing wrong with the South.
It's an unreasonable man with no spaces.
Yeah.
All right, cool. There you go then. I hopefully just invited you. And I don't know where Gorps is. I'm going to hit him up here in a second.
There you go.
Game Boy, what flavor?
What flavor?
Which flavor should I drink?
I got to mute this down. Stand by.
White.
Yeah.
White gummy bear.
Gorp is currently doing news right now.
Does it taste like White Monster?
No, it tastes like white gummy bear.
No, that's just as good.
By the way, did you ever send my response to Gorps?
I did. He was not pleased with your definition, so I was going to discuss this with the judges, which makes me sad that Chief isn't going to stick around because I was hoping Chief would be able to help parse through this. Because basically, you guys are both sort of quoting the UN definition of hate speech in your prompts or in your. But for some reason, yours worded differently, and so again, I'm not sure how to parse that out.
Because I looked up the legal definition of what they consider to be hate speech, whereas he was using their informal definition.
He was using more colloquial. Yeah, that checks out. Okay. So then in that case, yeah, I feel like y'all gonna have to just debate that one out.
That's kind of what I figured was gonna happen.
Yep.
When I came into it, so I'm unsurprised by this.
That's going to be up to the judge who presents it.
You're both wrong.
Speaking of which, I wanted to let you know, Grid, how this works. So you and Chief. So I'm not going to besmirch any of your judges, sir. But generally, I only invite people to judge who are able to judge based on the merits of the rhetoric as opposed to their personal positioning on the subject. I'm sure you understand, and I'm sure I know you're capable of it. Once again, same thing with Chief, same thing with, but then also, so that I always have two in-person judges. And then I don't know if you noticed in the chat, but I actually drop a straw poll link that's free to any audience members who want to watch or who are in the audience and watching. They can click that and be able to put in their vote. And then immediately after the debate, I create a second poll. And what we're looking for is not a popularity contest, but rather a persuasion contest. So I'm looking for whichever side is swayed the most. So if, like, let's say we've got 6-4 and 4 against, and then afterwards we've got 8-4 and 2 against, huzzah, 4 wins. You know what I'm saying? So that way we've got at least one that's quasi biased by the audience's level of persuasion or the audience impact. So, and then, like I said, you guys just after each debate, we're going to open it up to you guys first, give it a couple of minutes for you guys to explain, first of all, who you awarded it to, and give a little bit of information as to why. And then after that, we do the audience vote, and then we'll move on. Every other time we do it as a 3v3. And I'm actually thinking, everybody, that I'm going to start doing a 1v1, a 2v2, and a 3v3 based on which Saturday it is. Like the first Saturday is going to be 1v1, second Saturday 2v2, so on and so forth. But in those ones, we generally will also. There's a little bit more to the voting because we also have the judges choose who the MVP of the debate was, regardless of the winning side. Because sometimes if you're in a team match, there's been times where like Ancom brings the fucking fire, but he was on a team with somebody. I'm looking at you, Game Boy, who like bends the knee and concedes the debate in the first fucking prompt. Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure you knew because I have heard it from like 6 different people.
Debate?
He did, but that's okay.
That's the problem I have.
I sold like 3. It's not like a surprise.
I'm a little unprepared for this debate, but luckily I'm going against Game Boy, so it's all right.
Yeah, well, and see,
you said that already. You don't.
I like how you were more prepared
things.
for the non-debate at the start when you were fucking
right. He did. He was. He had references and shit for the judge, but not for his debater.
Way to prep.
All right. So
wait. When was this?
Oh, you missed it. It was before you came in. As soon as Lonzo jumped in, he immediately threw hands with Chief. So.
Oh yeah, I was there. No, I was just muted. I was playing Skate.
Oh yeah, that's
you were hardly playing Skate. That
yeah, he was failing pretty hard.
It's been a while. It's been like a day. I'm trying to get back into it.
It's been a day, and you're failing that hard, Game Boy.
He is.
Okay, why is everyone judging not only my debates but my skate skills?
You put it out there on the camera
in the middle.
Yeah,
I thought I was gonna do great.
Debate skills.
I didn't.
The debate skills have been so subpar that we have now defaulted to going after your gaming skills. We need you to step up in one of these categories.
Again, for what it's
I
worth.
remember when people would compliment my music taste. Now it's just, your skate skills suck. Your debate sucks. I haven't seen your face ever, but you're ugly. Like, I can smell you through the screen. Like, what is all of this? Like,
I mean, with all this animosity coming your way, you might as well just change your background image to King Von and do what needs to be done.
Hell yeah. I'm going to treat him like I treat what's his name? Spelt wrong. I'm gonna like treat Lonzo like I treat Spelt wrong, and just absolutely just, you're dumb, you're an idiot. Just all the words that trigger him.
For what it's worth, so that you can catch up on that one a little bit, Grid. We had a gentleman who was, I use that term very loosely, who was participating in debates with me, and I was very excited to have him participating because he was new to debate. But he was very passionate. But he has a tendency to consume copious amounts of alcohol throughout the course of the debate. So his performance at the beginning was really solid. By the end of it, he's slurring and dropping slurs, and like it's just not pretty. So anyway, he's since basically, I'm pretty sure he has voodoo dolls of every single one of our faces, and he has gone public with his hatred for everything about what we do here, which is debate.
You saying that he's slurring is so funny to me, since all I've heard about him is how much he thinks like fairly tame words are slurs. So that's,
yes, well, and first of all, when I say slur, I mean it's kind of like this. So
that kind of slurring. Okay.
But I was also being a smartass and doing a little double entendre there with the slur reference. So thank you for catching it, even if I had to use Crayola for it. Anyway,
in his words, he said, "I'm his favorite out of the group here. And I was the only good person."
No, of course. No, that checks out. Well, and I think he still likes Let's Chief too, because Let's Chief was always nice to him. So
what?
And again, I have nothing against the dude. I wish him nothing but the best, and I sincerely. And if he ever wants to come back and play with us again, even despite the mean shit he said about me, I'm still okay with it, because the point of this is for all of us to be able to keep getting better at debate and to be able to keep getting better at expressing our views and opinions and helping to persuade the audience. That's what the fuck we're here for. And on that note, I guess Gorps ain't gonna fucking make it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give up and get this party started.
He and I were the second debate anyway, so we'll give him until the end of
he said the debate starts at 8:30.
Well, he's an idiot.
Like his stream title.
That's fine.
I'll let him know.
That's cool. Yeah, no, it's fine. I already messaged him as well, so it's no.
Probably meant his started at 8:30.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
what
we're
he's talking
fucking
about.
over here doing some Mean Girls high school bullshit, and so it's 20 after, and so his debate's going to be more at 9 o'clock now.
Because we were patiently waiting for him to show up with the rest of the people. So. Was it really Mean Girls? Are you sure? Because that feels a little attacky, but maybe you're right. I was very clear that I want the best for the dude. So he was just not happy with me.
Lefty, is this a better wallpaper?
Let it die.
I am happy to let it die.
Or King Von.
It's not King Von.
I don't know.
King
I've always been more of a Chief Keef guy.
Killer E.
Yeah, but
I don't really respect
Chief
King Von,
Keef was like my hero in
like
middle school. So I don't know.
It's not going to change the outcome of this debate. That's all I'm going to tell you now.
King Von,
the cool Keith.
Chief Keef could make Crazy Story. King Von could not make Love Sosa. That's all I'm saying.
Those are like the two most popular songs of theirs. There's way better things you could have listed, though.
Okay, well, I wasn't about to make something because Radish already doesn't know what we're talking about.
What does Radish listen to? Radish, name what type of music do you listen to, man?
All of it.
All of it.
Yes, sir.
Does that, when you say all of it, do you just mean? Never mind.
No, if you really want me to be more specific,
Anka.
I happily will. But we got to get into this. Yeah, I could probably sing along with a couple of Paul Anka songs.
I think I just got Gorp to come into the chat.
Oh, fucking welcome in, Gorps. Glad you could make it, bro. Anyway, no, to the best way that I would describe it is I like anything that defies norms or pushes boundaries. I'm not bound by any genre, but what I do despise, no matter what genre, is anything that follows a recipe. So if I feel like you're just doing the things that you need to do the thing, fuck off. But any band or musician who can make it their own and do something that's a little bit different, you've got my undivided attention. So with that said,
What about The Recipe by Kendrick Lamar?
Bro, are you serious?
I was about to say, I actually don't know a lot of newer musicians, not because I'm a boomer, but more because it, like, for instance, mumble rap makes me want to tear my fucking eyes out.
What would you describe as mumble rap?
No Future?
Anything future.
Okay.
If you rhyme the word riff 5 times in a fucking row, I hate your face. Like if the only word that you can rhyme with itself is
Little
itself,
Uzi?
you have no skill. No, I do not know. Oh wait, no, somebody did show me Lil Uzi, and he's a
Playboy Cardi has some bangers. I'm playing Playboy Cardi right now.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. You want to know the truth, man? And I'm gonna say some really outlandish shit here.
Is it that you like Tekashi 6ix9ine?
Once upon a no, fuck him. Once upon a time, there were boundaries. There was difficulty to get into the music industry. Just because you have access nowadays doesn't mean you fucking should. And so there's a lot of people who just push music out there who have no fucking business doing so. But then randomly, because of that access, you'll get somebody like Ren, right? I don't know if I'm sure you know who Ren is. Ren is fucking amazing, right?
Ren is dope.
Who? No, yeah, Ren is amazing. And we would not have him were it not for things like YouTube. So again, you're going to get a whole lot more garbage that makes it to the mainstream attention, but you're also going to get some diamonds that fucking show through. So anyway, so I listen to all types of music, though, to be honest with you. Everything from country to rap to rock to I fucking rock some musicals. I was a theater kid. So yeah, sometimes I'll just put on Phantom of the Opera. So yeah, I'll listen to Paul Anka, asshole. Fuck off.
I think that McDonald guy, that McDonald rapper is the best one out there.
I think.
All right.
Inside your heart.
I think.
Inside your mind, goddammit.
Now that we got all the warm ups out and you got the radish all spicy already, we go ahead and get this started. So I have put the debate. Welcome in there, Alice. Appreciate you. So I'm going to put this in the chat one more time. Everybody who has not voted, go ahead and vote again. I sent out some invites, Gorps. I don't know if you got the invites for the group chat share thing. If you're not interested, that's fine. Now. Yep, word. And I did send one to you as well, Grid. I don't know if you saw it or not.
Yeah, I got it.
But okay, cool. Because it's not showing you in the party. So let me make sure.
I see you guys. Oh wait, maybe not anymore. Wrong. That's weird.
Yeah, that's like I said. For some reason, it was saying that you did not want to play with us.
That's weird.
And now I can't even
too
find
good for us. Grid's just too good for us.
You know, I can't blame him though. I wouldn't want to party with us either. And now, yeah, like I said, I'm having trouble fucking finding it because
that's odd.
Boom. And the only reason that it's kind of
part of any club that would have me as a member.
Speaking of parties, did you know Diddy just got 4 years in prison?
I did. And by that you mean just 4 years, right?
Too long.
That was what you meant to say. Did he got just 4 years?
Did he though?
All right.
That's really weird because it was fine and now it's not. That's weird.
Yep. So it's cool. I'll send you another one. Sure. So the only reason that it's useful is because it makes it so that whenever I send out the link for the vote, your chat can vote for it as well.
I don't have anybody in my chat.
And we can all see how retarded each other's chats are.
So.
Gotcha. There you go. I sent it again. Well, at least we can get a little bit of shared attention here. So,
in the chat, Nair, nothing much is going to change. Diddy's still going to be piping down dudes.
Whoa, he's only like what 5'10"? I don't know about that in prison.
Yeah, no, but I'm sure he's going to have some money cred. So, yeah, Scribbles, we're doing debates. We're doing, political debates. Everything's politics, right? But these are going to be hopefully a little bit more fun. So stick around and you can vote as well for the winner, which would be super useful. We like everybody here. Last time I'm going to drop it in there, and then I'm going to go ahead and start us. So the first debate we're going to do tonight is there, before we continue, I know Let's Chief is on a timeline. Is there anybody else who needs to get out of here ASAP? No? All right, cool.
Any hard outs?
Yeah, any hard outs. That's right. Then in that case, we're going to go ahead and hard on. Art out. All right, we're going to go ahead and start with, hey, appreciate you there, Gorps. That was very sweet of you, buddy. We're going to go ahead and start with the Admiral Groofus and Lefty debate, which are we are endowed by our creator with certain inalienable rights. You can see up here on the top, that is going to be our prompt. So everybody out there remembers, I'm sure every single one of y'all who has debated here has either debated here or I know you've watched a few Groofus. I don't even think you've spoken yet. Groofus? Are you there?
I've spoken a few times.
Okay, there you go.
He has.
Wasn't there a modification to the prompt?
It was we were agreed to a interpretation of the prompt, but we didn't change the prompt itself.
Oh. Correct. So I just have to say, Groofus, I'm very shocked to hear your voice. I've seen you in Gorps's chat countless times. I actually thought you were Gorps's dad, to be honest. So finding out that
younger
you're not,
than me.
I'm younger than Gorp.
I hear that now.
So we're dealing with a paradox?
Exactly, or a paradox.
Anyway, only thing you have is your father.
All right, so let's see. So Groofus, do you have the ability to put any sort of a camera on? I don't care. It doesn't have to be. Go ahead.
I'm trying to figure out how to do one on OBS right now.
Okay, so what you on the bottom right corner, it's going to see somebody else walking through it. Do it quick. Just because it puts you in the right placement.
All right.
Hit start virtual camera, and when it says sources, you can put any image or anything like that on. I know you wanted to put the snake on, so
yeah, I was gonna put no step on snack.
And then just hit the snake, or if you want to put text, there's also the text option.
I clicked start virtual camera and something's coming up.
And you need to hit camera on Discord as well for it to even pop up. And
correct.
If you go to the arrow, it will say camera, and you can select OBS as the source for the camera.
Everything he just said. OBS virtual cam is what you're going to set up as your camera.
All right.
Voice. Sorry, I wish I would have said this a little earlier so you could have gotten it locked in a little faster. I'm sorry, that was my bad.
I messaged him about it, but I didn't say it soon enough because I was
again, just to be clear, it makes it so that all of our affirmatives are on the top row, all of our judges and moderators in the middle row, and all of our negatives are on the bottom row. So that's the.
Hey, Radish.
Yes, sir.
Which works.
Can you
which
check
makes
the stream
more
together
sense
and
during
make sure
a team
that? Can you make sure that the shared chat function is enabled? Because my chat's not seeing it, and it says the host
not
is the
enabled
one that
right
can do
now.
it.
I blame I spelt this wrong just because.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But be nice. Yeah, no, that's my bad. Start sharing chat. Welcome in all the chatters. There you go. All right.
That didn't work.
So that fixed it. And now I'm going to put this in one last time. I'm very, very sorry, but I'm glad now that I know that this is happening, for fuck's sake. So you guys can all see that link I just dropped in there. Go ahead and click that link. It costs you nothing. Put in your vote for where you stand on this prompt. There's going to be one of these at the beginning and at the end of each debate that we're doing tonight. We're doing 3 debates. They're all going to be pretty short form. I say pretty short form. They're going to be 30 minutes or less. But what we're going to do is we're going to compare the beginning of the debates votes with the after the debates votes, and that is going to count the whichever team sways the most percentage wise is going to be the audience vote. So that way it's not just a popularity contest, because sometimes these debaters are debating prompts they don't even believe in. That's how debate works. Sometimes you're going to have to steel man a position you don't understand. And for those of you who are new to debate, or debate is kind of unfamiliar to you, the benefit of that and the beauty for that is that it shows that you understand the opposition, right? Because it's very difficult for you to be able to truly articulate an argument if you don't truly understand the opposition. So being able to argue their best points demonstrates your understanding of their position. Even if you disagree with it, you at least understand where they're coming from. And it's always been valuable, but I think that today's world, that's ultra valuable. So anyways, once again, I'm going to go ahead and, yep.
I'm trying to do it. I have the virtual camera working, but Discord's not showing it.
Okay, yep. So in Discord, go ahead.
What you do is, if you right-click on the camera icon in Discord, then there should be a little thing that says camera with a little pop-out menu, which will give you a list of... Oh, there you go. You got it.
Damn it, it went back. It's fucking flipped. God damn it.
No, it's right. No, it's right.
It's right for you. It's flipped for you
okay.
only. It is right for everyone else.
Okay.
Just like the timer above my head in your screen is correct, but on me it looks backwards.
Okay.
So
Is my
Gotcha.
name correct or is it backwards?
your name is
It's
beautiful,
correct.
sir.
No,
It's
yours
backwards.
is correct.
It's absolutely
All
It's
right.
backwards right now, Gorp.
Fuck yeah, we got it. All right, let's fucking go, people. We're gonna cut it in right at 8:30 then. All right, everybody, welcome in. Hopefully we've got all of our votes. I'm not going to share what the votes are right now. We're going to compare them at the end of the debate, but I want to go through real quick one more time. Our judges to the far left of me is going to be Grid One Motorsports. You can find him over at Unreasonable Man. He streams both on Twitch and primarily on YouTube. So give him a click on that. Let's Chief here to my immediate left. She used to stream, but he doesn't anymore. You can just kind of yell at him anytime in my Discord channel. He enjoys it. He likes the abuse. Our debaters today across the top in the affirmative, we have in the top left corner, Groofus is going to be debating our bottom center, Lethe Water Kai. Our top center, Ancom Psycom, is going to be debating our bottom left corner, Gorps Inc. And our top right corner, a stairwell, apparently, is going to be debating our bottom right corner, Lonzo Kennedy. So each of them is going to have a different prompt. The prompt above my head is going to be our first prompt for the night. And as I said, that's going to be Admiral Groofus up there in the No Step on Sneck and the Lethe Water Kai in the bottom row. So without any further ado, because we've had way too much do already, we're going to go ahead and put 3 minutes on the clock, everybody. And is everybody ready to get this party started? Groofus, you good?
Yep.
Lethe, you good? Judges, we're good?
Go.
Let's fucking go. All right, then. 3 minutes is on the clock. So something else we're going to do a little bit differently, and this is actually because of Grid. Grid reminded me of the way this is really supposed to go. We're not going to flip a coin anymore. The affirmative is going to go first. So with that said, we've also made another small augment to the timer, which is we don't need 5 minutes closing because people are just fucking monologuing too long. So I'm cutting that down to a 3-minute close for each of you. I know it's only 2 minutes off, but still, any time we can. So, welcome in everybody. Welcome in Rook. Welcome in Myopic Times. Oh no, I guess you're over there in Lethe, but that's okay. Welcome in nonetheless. And we're going to go ahead and go. Rufus, 3 minutes is on the clock. Let's hear your opening for We Are Endowed by Our Creator with Certain Inalienable Rights.
Whether you call them human rights, property rights, or universal rights, rights are inherent to every individual by virtue of their existence as rational beings. To claim otherwise is to fall into a logical trap that undermines not only freedom, but the very act of arguing itself. If rights are not inherent, they must be granted by the state. This leads to an extreme conclusion. If the government alone defines your rights, it can dictate every aspect of your life. A state that grants rights can just as easily revoke them, leaving you with no moral claim over your body, your labor, or your freedom. For example, like how Trump is currently attacking activists with ICE currently. But this view doesn't just threaten liberty, it is logically incoherent. When someone claims rights come from the state, they engage in rational discourse, implicitly asserting their right to speak and reason. This act presupposes self-ownership, the control over one's body and mind necessary to form and express ideas. To deny inherent rights is to contradict the very act of arguing, as it suggests a state could legitimately silence you, nullifying your ability to make the claim in the first place. It is a performative contradiction. You rely on the freedom to argue while denying that same freedom is inherent to others. The contradiction extends to the state itself. When the government enacts laws or defends their authority, they engage in argumentation, claiming the right to justify their actions. Yet, if rights are state granted, this implies only state agents have the right to argue, while ordinary individuals do not. If the act of reasoning presupposes self-ownership for some, it must do so for all, as no logical distinction can exclude one person without collapsing into arbitrariness. Rights are not gifts from bureaucrats, they are rooted in an undeniable reality of human agency. Every person, by engaging in thought, action, discourse, affirms their inherent right to life and liberty. That's it.
And that's it. All right, cool. Left it with a minute on the clock. Great job.
I forgot it was 3 minutes. I thought it was 2, so I timed it for 2 minutes.
No worries. That's all right. I'm sure that the judges appreciate it. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and put 2 minutes on the clock. Lethe, this is your 2 minutes to do with as you please, although it is intended for cross-examination. So are you ready for your cross-examination then?
Yes.
All right. Why is it not fucking changing? Because my numlock's off? What the fuck? 2? Why? Oh my god. What the literal fuck? Dude.
We're doing it live.
We're fucking doing it live. I'm pushing the goddamn 2. Okay, so
just take
I
a bad
guess my
fail at
keyboard
life.
has shit the bed. Oh my god, this is so obnoxious.
You can use your phone and put a hold
The
up.
real
on the
winner
screen.
tonight is the keyboard.
No,
Yeah,
it's not the
go through
keyboard because he's
He's defeated the
I was
host.
about to say he's about to he's about to abuse the living shit out of his keyboard.
Oh,
Hey, you can win and still catch one at the end of the day.
okay, so I don't understand. This is so goddamn stupid. So what we're gonna do? So for some reason, it's locked in my chat. Is somebody smarter than me able to tell me why my fucking numbers are only getting printed in my chat box instead of in my right now? Beach, fuck off.
Did you click on the thing that's not the chat box?
Yes, multiple times. So I'm going to try clicking down here. There we go. Now will it work? Nope, it's still only typing in the motherfucking numbers in there. What the literal fuck?
Close the tab that has your chat. and then
you guys hear me
reopen a
now?
different tab with it.
Yes.
We could hear you the
Yes.
whole top guy. Your chat could not.
No, my chat could not. So I was seeing if because I haven't used OBS since I moved. So it's the first time I hooked up everything today. First appearance in months.
Haha! Thank you, Gorps. You're the best. All right, everybody. We got it figured out. Fuck me.
Said no one
2 minutes.
ever. No, I'm kidding.
2 minutes on the clock.
Wow.
Sorry. Thank you all for your patience. 2 minutes on the clock. You ready for your cross-X, Lefty?
So the very idea that the state or any entity can take your rights away means you were not born with rights, that rights are endowed upon you by whatever entity wants to protect your rights. Just like slaves were taken to another country where other people had rights they were not afforded. They did not have rights because no one was willing to enforce their rights. Eventually, people had to come along being willing to enforce those rights. So if this is the case that we absolutely were clearly not born with rights and have to have them endowed by an entity, you already defeated your own argument, and I don't think we even have anything to talk about. I'm done.
Okay. That was your cross-examination. You've now got 3 minutes on the clock for your opening. I'm gathering you're just going to go ahead and skip it, but I'm still going to put the 3 minutes on the clock for you to skip. So, Lefty, are you ready for your 3-minute opening?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, go ahead.
So, us being born under this rock, evolutionarily speaking, we've dealt with a societal structure. The societal structure has deemed what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable. And these things change and vary over time. So to expect that any particular right is going to be something that is granted immediately at birth, it completely negates survival of the fittest. What we're trying to do as a society is not live under survival of the fittest, to allow people to have as much freedom and as much grace as possible. And like in my particular way of thinking, which is usually whatever promotes human flourishing, I would like to hope we're getting closer to that, but that's not really the way this thing works, because we have, an entire party that doesn't believe in human flourishing, because as soon as you're born, they don't really give a crap about you anymore. So, that's just pretty much how it works, but definitely not inalienable, definitely no creator. So I'm glad that was removed from the prompt interpretation, because there is no creator to enforce these things. And if God ever cared, a bunch of kids wouldn't be dying with cancer. So I'm going to go ahead and call it at that.
Right. And 2 minutes is on the clock for you now, Admiral Grufus. If you'd like to use it for cross-examination, go ahead.
So you said you were during your actually I'll just instead of using it for my cross, I'll respond to Lethy's cross, which is you're confusing an is or an ought statement. There were people who didn't respect or uphold their rights, but they still have them based on the fact that they are alive. Just because, if I had to say this correctly, you still have the I'm sorry, I'm not very good on my feet. 2, 3. You have the right to.
Take your time. Take your time.
If you confusing isn't odd statements because might does not make reality, but it might does not make right, which is but it does make reality, which is why people's rights aren't respected. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay, and you want to forfeit the rest of the time then?
Yeah.
All right, 10-4. Not a problem. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put the 10 minutes on the clock, although it's almost like we've already started our cross conversation. So this is going to be 10 minutes open for you guys to just go ahead and discuss this openly. Also, while this is happening to the two judges, just as a reminder, if while you're having this or while you're listening to this, any questions come up in your minds that you want me to ask, message me in Discord. And at the end of the 10 minutes, I will ask the two debaters any questions that you think got missed in this crosstalk. So, and if there are none, that's fine as well. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and start that 10 o'clock and go.
So, like off rip, if you say rights is ought statement, that definitely doesn't make any sense, because if you ought to have rights but you don't have rights, you apparently don't have rights. So if you were born and you want to eat, thinking that, you know, being able to eat and have food is a right you should have, and somebody comes along and says, now this baby ain't getting food, you don't have that right, apparently.
You have the right to go out and gather food. You have the right to consume the product of your labor. You do not have the right to force someone else to feed you. That's the difference between I'm making a difference between positive and negative rights. Or that's
yes,
what I was
I'm saying as a baby, you can't go out and get your own food.
Yes.
So we are not born with rights. So what you're saying is we earn rights by our labor, and we are entitled to the fruits of our labor. Is that the argument you're making?
Yes. You are allowed to. You have the ability to, the right to do stuff. You have the right to. You have the right to do anything so long as it does not initiate conflict upon another person.
And who enforces against the non-aggression principle?
Either it could be through mutual aid societies, it could be through fraternities, it could be through a rights defense agency, depending. Obviously, I'm a full ANCAP. Game Boy and Gorp aren't.
Oh no! As soon as you started talking, I could hear the non-aggression principle oozing from your
words.
Yeah,
no,
perfectly fine. So again, this is why Encapistan is kind of goofy. Like, at the end of the day, you have no entitlement to anything else or any organization beyond your own labor. If you think that somebody can't come and take your labor from you, that's just a misconception. This is why we have a government that's set up to enforce the laws. If you don't want to deal with a government and pay taxes to a government to protect your rights, you more than likely won't have them when somebody else decides that their labor is taking your labor.
So you're arguing, in fact, that people.
If the job that I choose to have in life is to take other people's labor away from them, then that is my labor and I'm entitled to it.
It's a logical contradiction to argue against, to argue for violence, though. That's what I'm.
Who said anything about violence?
Well, but you were saying it's okay if someone decides that it's okay to steal from someone, to take someone else's labor away from them. That is initiating conflict. That is inherently violence.
If I walk onto somebody's property, which they have no rights to, because we've already established that there is no right to property in this instance, and pick up an item that I think I want and start walking away with it, it would be violence on the other person's end to stop me from walking away with it.
You're the one who's initiating the conflict. or it's the person who's trespassing is initiating the conflict.
Trespassing on what?
The person's property.
Why is it their property if I don't recognize that they own that property? Because there's no rights in this instance. Nobody's reinforcing it. How do I know that that's their property?
Via because it's in ANCAP, you have to homestead the land, so it's pretty obvious if something is natural or not. You don't get, it's not just like the government who can say all this wilderness is mine because my authority says so. You actually have to build a house. You actually have to transform the land in some way, shape, or form.
So we're going by dibs, and everybody's supposed to respect that and not have any governing body or anything that's solidifying this?
No, you can absolutely have what ANCAPs would call a proper government instead of the state, which would be funded either through some sort of voluntary subscription service, or would be funded through, or maybe it would be perhaps funded through some sort of mutual aid. And said organization would enforce those rights. You would still have communities, you still have societies. You just wouldn't have a state forcibly taxing someone else's labor to pay for something that someone may or may not actually want to associate or to pay for.
And what if this particular agency also wants to help me take your stuff?
Then you also have the right to assuming that there's also there would be multiple of them, of course, and you can, and no corporation, no other mutual aid society would want to associate with someone who is willing to violate rights, who is willing to engage in violence to as a means to an end. You would, and also you would be allowed to you would very much be allowed to defend your property through whichever means you have and whichever means you can buy.
Okay, so with that being the case, if all of these groups agree with me more than they agree with you and want me to take your stuff, are you going to open fire on all of them?
Yes. If everyone is violating someone's rights, yes, someone is violating someone else. If a group of people are violating someone else's rights, then yes, the person is in the right to shoot at all of them. Assuming it's proportional. I want to say assuming it's proportional. Just stepping on someone's property doesn't, you don't get to shoot someone because they're just stepping on your property. But proportionally, if they're threatening your life in some way or actively threatening your property or labor, you would be able to.
So far, you haven't expressed to me why there's any reason why anyone should be accepting that this is your property.
Because you put your own labor into it, and you're the one who put your labor into it. You are the one who put labor into it. You have and it is a logical contradiction to argue for violence, because if you arguing for violence inherently means you don't. Arguing for violence means you presuppose that you don't respect rights, and therefore you forfeit your rights. That's why I need to.
Explain that one more time.
If you arguing against rights, means if you argue against someone else's rights and call for violence, that is a logical contradiction, because you presuppose that you have the ability to, for example, you have the ability to speak and to reason if you are if you have the ability, and if you have the ability to speak and reason, you have at least the ability. You have the right to your own body, and you have the right to whatever your body performs, whatever labor your body performs.
This literally just sounds like idealism. There's nothing enforcing this, and I don't see why this should even be respected in the case that we aren't willing to set up a governing body to enforce it. So you're hoping that naturally people will respect your labor and your autonomy as a human being, which historically goes against the way humanity has functioned since the dawn of our existence. We create societies to enforce the rights of the people in our societies, then other societies will show up and fight against those rights that you're talking about. So under your system, we would never have any sort of rights going forward.
You would be allowed to. I mean, there would also be groups of people. It wouldn't just be individual people on their own. There would be groups of people, like-minded people, who are defending each other.
All right.
You wouldn't have.
So that is time. I let you finish that thought there. I didn't want to jump in on you, but we are done with the 10-minute open. I'm not sure if the judges have any questions. If you do, let me know. Again, just send me the direct chat. But while we're waiting to hear from them, unless the reason that I'm not having you guys just ask the questions yourself is so that it doesn't seem like it biases the debaters. I don't want them to know which judge or what the judge's thoughts are. So that said, I'm gonna put the 3 minutes on the 3 minutes close. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to, because I feel like we got through most of the thoughts here, so y'all are just going to be summarizing. I'm going to move that to a 2-minute close. I hope that you guys are okay with that. So we did, who went first? Admiral Groofus went first.
Yeah.
So Groofus, are you ready for a 2-minute close?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and sum it up for us, buddy.
Rights, human property, or universal are not granted by governments, contracts, or cultural norms, but inherent in our nature as rational, self-owning beings. When we debate, as we do now, we presuppose self-ownership, the right to control our bodies and minds. This is my opponent, by arguing, affirms this truth, yet they claim rights aren't inherent. This is a performative contradiction. To deny self-ownership is to undermine the very act of reasoning, making discourse impossible. Inherent rights, grounded in the NAP and the logic of human action, are universal and inalienable. My opponent's position, whatever form it takes, cannot escape this logical necessity. Inherent rights are the bedrock of human dignity. They are not privileges granted by states, contracts, or cultures. Every person who acts. Yeah, that I'm just gonna see the rest of my time because I had modular. I had stuff I was going to include, but I assumed we were gonna have 5 minutes. So
Sorry. Yeah. Again, I happy to concede it. I wish I would have heard more of that in the 10 minutes. Personally,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. So all right. Well, then in that case, 2 minutes on the top for you, Lefty.
I had
Go ahead.
I had 2 pages of closing prepared. So. It's fine.
You know what?
Whatever.
I kind of want to hear it then. So you know what? I'm gonna keep it going, buddy. Just read us your closing. Let's go with that.
It was because it was modular. So it was modular. So it was.
Give us the module. Come on with it.
The entire thing.
Whatever you thought was going to fit in your close. You give me the close you were prepared for. I assume this is okay with the judges.
Oh, absolutely.
I want to hear. I want to hear what you got. Let me hear it.
My opponent has raised practical concerns like how disputes are resolved or vulnerable groups are protected by the state. Inherent rights don't require a state. They enable voluntary solutions. Private arbitration, mutual agreements rooted in self-ownership and non-aggression resolve conflicts without coercion. For valuable individuals like children, rights remain inherent by their human nature and potential for agency, not their current ability to argue. Argumentation ethics, which I'm sure you got. Argumentation ethics applies universally. Every person's existence presupposes their claim to life. My opponent's reliance on state intervention assumes centralized power is necessary, but this risks the very oppression inherent rights prevent. Decentralized voluntary systems respect the individual sovereignty while addressing practical needs, proving that inherent rights are not just logical but actionable, unlike state-dependent models prone to abuse. Yeah, that's probably the.
Good enough. So I appreciate
that was probably the module.
All right, Lefty, are you ready? I'm going to go ahead and give you 3 minutes since I actually let him go for about another minute. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and start.
I mean, at the end of the day, I saw, I had some stuff that I worked for, and then someone came and took it from me, even though I held up the nap. They didn't agree with it. So apparently the rights that I thought I had weren't there. I don't know what I'm supposed to say to this. Rights or privileges and entitlements afforded to you by the state or by a governing body for the most part, because again, if they aren't going to be enforced, then is it really a right? It's a right until somebody takes it from you, which is why they are definitely not inalienable. I don't really need 2 minutes to explain more than that.
All right, there you go. No worries. So that one actually went a little bit differently than I expected it to, but that's all right. It was still fun to listen to. So I'm going to go ahead and give the judges a second to articulate. And I'm also going to go ahead and drop in the second link here so that everybody can vote again based on your current share, copy, boom. So you guys can go ahead and vote based on your current opinion. Oh, God damn it. I'm going to fuck up my typing again. Oh, you know what? I'll do it over here. Haha. Maybe. Yeah, there we go. I'm getting there, kids. There we go. I'm going to drop that in there for everybody. So go ahead and go click on that link and vote for where you position now after that very persuasive debate. So I'm going to go ahead and go this to, I'm going to open it up with Mr. Chief, if that's all right. Give you the first opportunity to speak. Where did you score this, Chief?
I gave the win to Lefty on this one.
Okay. And based on any feedback?
Yeah, it felt like the argument was tried to be made that, the inherent and inalienable rights were kind of just like baked in by existing, and that was logical. But I feel like it was just asserted that it was logical, and rather than like any sort of foundation built upon to like demonstrate why that was the case. It was just more asserted, in my opinion.
Okay. And now over to you, Mr. Grid. How did you score this debate?
Well, I scored it for Lefty. Do we get feedback or input or anything like that?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, like say any feedback.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I believe this was his first public debate. Is that correct, Rufus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so again, we're all here to try and get better. So
right.
Yep.
Right.
So any feedback, offer it, please.
Yeah. So that's along the lines of how my show works too. So
yes.
So Admiral, what's the last part?
Rufus.
All right, got it. Okay. So it never comes off really well in a debate when it sounds like you're reading.
Sure.
No matter if you wrote it yourself or anything like that, it never like comes out really well. So, and understanding this is your first debate, I'm gonna try and give you a lot of condense a lot of information into just some very quick points. When you take a debate like something over rights, the first question you have to ask yourself is, do you have any rights that are not guaranteed over the barrel of a gun? And you don't. So if you're going to do that, to beat that, to take the affirmative that you do have rights, you have to step away from or be exceedingly convincing of the idea behind the NAP and behind the idea of insurance companies would enforce things that all of these things that the ANCAPs believe. Lefty had nothing to do here but say you have no rights not enforced over the barrel of a gun. You just don't. And that's all he had to do. That's all he had to say. And you had the burden, which is weird because you're the affirmative, and he should have had to work harder than you, but he didn't. So I would say maybe the next time, even though your belief system being an ANCAP gives you X argument that you guys all understand, when you're talking to other people that or a wider audience, you have to push in terms that most people can understand and relate to. But really, your delivery was you've really got to not sound like you're reading. You really got to sound really good at and have some confidence. They're just words. So, say them, as they say, with a full chest, and make sure that whatever it is that you're saying, you believe in. Like if I were going to debate that we do have rights, then they're inalienable, right? Then I would have to go into a religious or Christian or some other aspect, which is a tough argument to make. But if I did make it, I would be like, this is the way it is. And Lefty would have to knock down that wall. And he wouldn't be able to do that with just by saying, you don't have any rights, not guaranteed over the barrel of a gun, because I say, well, no, I've got on my side. What do you have? You got nothing. And you didn't do that, but you should have. Or maybe you shouldn't have because you're an ANCAP. I don't know. Lefty, you didn't have anything to do here except say, you don't have any rights, not guaranteed over the barrel of a gun. The threat of violence, without the threat of violence, you have no rights. Lefty knew that. That's why he took the debate, I'm sure. And he's a smart fellow. You should learn from him. So.
Just even in like an hour, there's no way I could have try to explain how argumentation ethics or any ANCAP theory applies to this. It's
right. I get it. I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. It's a bad topic for an ANCAP to get into.
Maybe Scott could. I certainly fucking can't. Maybe Liquid Zulu could. I can't.
Yeah, Scott's a friend of mine. Love that guy. He's going to be in Nashville with us. We're looking for a debate for him, or someone to debate him while he's there. But yeah,
Lefty,
I got to be honest, man.
Yeah,
that's dirty pool, man. Take that.
I cool face to the whole thing. I apologize.
That's literally like taking that prompt against an ANCAP is just like shooting. I mean, you just can't. Especially
for what it's worth, he doesn't know. Just so you know how I do this grid. I have about 25. I have about 25 debaters that I send out the list of prompts for that week, and I say, where do you stand on it? And then I take whoever responded, and I try to look for, first of all, people who are on opposite sides, and I try to make interesting. So this was Grufus's first time. So to be honest with you, I put him up against Lefty because Lefty's super nice, and so I know regardless, I did, but he's also really good. So basically, he can match energy.
Sure.
So if I had never heard Grufus work before, so if he came out all dickish and you know what I mean, like being an ass. Lefty can match that. Lefty can but then on the other hand, if somebody's still new or whatever, struggling, then Lefty's gonna, you know what I mean? Like he's gonna match the energy. So that was the reason for that debate.
Rufus, buddy, I'm trying to help you here, man. I'm not trying to hurt you. I don't want to hurt your feelings.
I'm very used to criticism.
And again, like I said, we're here to get better. All of us are open to fucking criticism. So hopefully I can keep you for at least one or two more, Chief. I know you got to dip out, buddy, but again, I like having all nine of us. Thank you, because you're the best. So I actually am going to go ahead and roll straight into the next one before he has a chance to change.
Out of respect to my opponent, I respect you taking on that very difficult hurdle to hop over. So
And real quick,
All
I
the
actually
respect
want to
in the
say
world.
also, I got to shout out to the chat. Audience voted, and it was actually we went from a 50-50 split to a 66-33. So basically, Lethy actually did get the win from the audience, but it was only by it was a small margin of shift. So yeah, only about a 20% shift. So with that said, we're gonna go ahead and go
You
straight
ask
into.
a
better grab
question?
whoever volunteered next to Judge because I do have to dip. So
God, I
appreciate
hate
you.
your face,
Thanks
man.
again, gang.
I appreciate you too, man. Yeah,
Radish,
it's
can I
okay.
ask a question?
Yes.
So those whole opinion like polls that we have, I may have voted against Gorp for the sake of him being Gorp and not the fact that I agree with Ancom. Would that affect the debate anyway?
No, because if Gorps changes your mind and makes you like him enough to vote for him, then he
I don't
did the
think that's a
job.
possibility.
Why do I
Radish.
always catch strays?
Because you're
Did you not
you're
see
so
when
damn
I
cool.
first joined? I was getting insulted about like my nose and stuff, and them saying it was off center. I don't know
But
why
yeah, your
Lefty
nose
had
is
to say
You
that.
deserved it.
Your nose looks stupid. The fuck?
So Rampage Paul is like itching to get in here, and he says he can step in and judge if you'd like him to.
Do you know this person?
I do know Paul, and I think most people around here know Paul.
Do you vouch for this person?
Yeah,
I do vouch
I
for
also
Paul.
know Paul, and I will also vouch for him. He's a good guy.
All right, then. Yep, absolutely. So Paul,
My
real quick,
And I will also
and
accept him as a
someone
judge,
I'm gonna-
even
I
though
was
I'm
gonna
pretty
say-
sure he will disagree with me.
again, but he knows debate, and he knows he's a contributor. All right,
I
absolutely.
also know he's
Steve,
5'2", and Italian.
is he gonna have that Napoleon energy, man?
So just Italian.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and sit. Well, actually, I guess we can do it in here.
It's also
We do it
worth
over
noting
here.
that Napoleon's height was misreported due to unit differences of the time.
Ancom's
In
defending
our
a
modern
dictator.
measurement, he's about 5'7", which is roughly average.
But
This
isn't
all
that
right.
the height that
He's
this guy
defending
said
a
he was?
dictator.
And 5'7" being average makes me feel bad about people. So
So he was above
I
average
mean,
height for
average-
Okay.
Average for the time.
Here's average height
the
for
average
the
has
time.
increased in the last. The average has increased a fair bit over the last.
What is it
150
now?
years.
I
What is it
feel
now?
like
5'9"?
Vikings are
Closer to
currently being
5'10",
attacked,
I
and that is
believe.
fucked up.
all right, so just so you know, there, Rampage, you got Lethy's nod, so I'm going to give you full privileges just off the bat. Just go. You should be able to jump all the way in here into the hot box, my friend. And I do appreciate you putting your name to the same as your chat. I'm going to put a Boom J Boom, and then it's Rampage. Sorry, it makes it so that you'll be in the correct place. Oh wait, all of that is capitalized. My bad.
I didn't know
You
a
are
parentheses was called a boom.
Aggressively Rampage. Yeah, now you know, bro.
I've
So
never
to be
heard it
clear-
called a boom except by this boomer.
Good God, that was mean.
And
Rampage,
I
can you
call
just say
you
a
a
few things
boomer
about
only
yourself?
because you called a
I-
parenthesis a boom.
I'm also 5'10", 5'11", if you actually measure me when I wake up in the morning, to be clear here. Also,
does that work?
I'm not I'm
That
not
centimeters you're talking. I'm sorry. All right,
No,
so
no.
you sound
I mean,
great.
510 centimeters is fucking tall as shit. So if he's
There you
5'10"
go.
centimeters, goddamn.
No,
be clear.
5'10", 5.1. Yeah, okay, fuck off. I hate math. I hate your face.
Only
I'm gonna
tall
go
in
down
Europe.
now.
We don't
All
use
right,
those.
so we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go back to it. So we've got a new judge. So judge, just so you know, the way this works, I know you. I don't believe you. You might have watched that last one from start to finish. We got it. The format's timed or whatever, and I'm actually gonna just. I felt like 10 minutes. We're still trying to dial in the 1v1 times. We usually do 3v3s, but I'm going to start mixing it up back and forth. So I'm trying to get the right amount of times here. Did you? I'm going to kick it to you. Do you feel like that was too much time there, Grid?
I mean, to be fair,
Yeah,
I think that I like.
You know what?
I mean, the opening is a
You
little
liked it?
bit long. The openings are a little bit long. I think. But you are
So
giving,
generally, the way
Yeah.
The way that it works is they go back and forth with cross examinations. So it's more interesting because you get to cross examine the last speaker before you go, and then the next speaker cross examines you. And so it's a better flow. But yeah, I think maybe the cross examination is not necessary. You agree?
I think it's
the
topic
1v1s?
dependent, to be honest with you, because the this last one, yeah, I would agree that it wasn't necessary.
Yeah. So
but
I'm just going to arbitrarily take out the cross examination from the 1v1s. We'll see if it's missing and we don't like
Wait,
it
is
and
that
we
for
want to put
ours
it back.
too?
I thought
Oh
it
no,
was
you want that cross section? Never
useful.
mind.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
never mind.
I'm
I
just
like
Never
it.
mind.
curious so
Nope,
I
nope,
can
nope.
prepare.
We're not
I'm
going to
cool
change it.
either way.
Nope,
I'm cool either
I
way.
kind of fucked over Groofus with his prepped clothes. So I'm not going to change anything up. People came in prepared for this, but for next time we're going to make some adjustments to the time. Every time we try and do better, kids. Every time we try to learn. So in that case, one more time I'm going to drop that into the chat so that everybody can vote. We are going to have you vote right now. And then after the debate, we're going to have you vote again to see who persuaded you. Our next debate is going to be on the prompt above my head. Hate speech advocates violence and should itself be considered violence. Now, for the audience's sake, as well as for the judges, in the previous debate, the two debaters were able to argue on an interpretation of the prompt in advance. They kind of bounced it through me to make sure that they were sort of on the same page. This debate, however, the two debaters were not on the same page on the prompt, so this is going to be interesting. We're going to have ANCOM SciCom in the top center there, right above our new judge, and then bottom left corner is going to be Gorps Inc. on the negative position for that prompt. So lock your votes in. I'm going to put 3 minutes on the clock. The AF is going to go first, so that's ANCOM's opportunity to open. And are you ready, ANCOM?
I am
Let's
indeed.
get it, boys.
All right, you're ready too, and judges were both ready?
Yep.
All right, guys.
Roll with it.
3 minutes on the clock, ANCOM. Go ahead.
All right. So the negative put forward a definition from the UN regarding the definition of hate speech, which was any kind of communication in speech, writing, or behavior that attacks or uses pejorative or discriminatory language with reference to a person or group on the basis of who they are. In other words, based on their religion, ethnicity, nationality, race, color, descent, gender, or other identity factor. There is, however, another definition also provided by the UN in their International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, in which they describe it as any advocacy of national, racial, or religious hatred that constitute incitement to discrimination, hostility, or violence. Now, I think both of these definitions have their benefits and their problems, but I think if we took the best of those, taking into account the greater inclusivity of the former definition with the idea from the latter that it must constitute incitement to discrimination, hostility, or violence. I think that gets us to a good functional definition of the term hate speech. As far as the term violence goes, also defined by the World Health Organization as the intentional use of physical force or power, threatened or actual, against oneself, another person, a group, or community that either results in or has a high likelihood of resulting in injury, death, psychological harm, maldevelopment, or deprivation. So I think it is clear from the combination of these two definitions, when you're looking at how hate speech can be directly impactful on another person, that a severe enough series of statements or, in fact, verbal abuse, which could be constituted hate speech based on whatever quality it happens to be attacking, is absolutely violent in that it threatens and oftentimes produces actual psychological harm. Now, I feel my opponent's likely going to bring up physical harm as the proper definition of violence, but to that I would suggest that there are many different kinds of harm, many different ways that violence can be enacted against another person, and I think a broader understanding of this concept is required to truly understand this particular question and this particular prompt. And that is my opening statement.
Very good. Brought it in with 20 to spare. Now we're going to go ahead and put 2 minutes on the clock for you, Gorps, for you to be able to do your cross-examination. You ready to go, bud?
Yep.
All right. Go ahead.
So, Ancom, Do you think that so it seems like you're sticking on like emotional harms mostly, right? Is that accurate?
I mean, I'm going with psychological or physical harm. So any of these can be considered violence. I mean,
Okay, so
I'm
how does
also
speech do
including.
physical harm?
I never claimed that it did.
You just said that you're talking about that as well.
I'm talking about physical harm in terms of violence, sure, but I never claimed that speech directly did physical harm. That was not
Okay.
part of my opening statement in any way.
Okay, so should violent speech be punished in a similar way to like assault? Like physical
Not
violence?
necessarily. Not
So
necessarily.
What's the point?
What's the point of what?
Calling it violence.
I mean, there are lots of forms of violence that we don't punish by law. So you would need to specify why we should, what is the criteria on which some violence is punished and other violence is not.
I would say that we punish most violence, but separate from that,
I would disagree heavily. I think there is quite a lot of violence. There's both voluntary violence in the various forms of sporting events that we have across this country, which are perfectly legal, and then there are other forms of violence in
okay,
which
shut up.
the
I didn't ask a question.
direct.
I have an actual question for you. Is all
Okay.
hate speech violent, or is only some hate speech violent?
I think all hate speech has the potential for violence,
So not all
but I
hate
can't
speech is
say
violent.
it. Not all hate speech is violent, not necessarily, no.
So hate speech itself is not violent. It is certain types
Hate
of speech that are violent.
I mean, hate speech itself can be violent. It has the potentiality for violence. To give this a black or white definition is to ignore the complexity and nuance involved.
Your side ignores
Time.
that.
Well,
Anyway,
that's time. Go ahead and put in three minutes on the clock for you, Gorps. Time to go for your opening. You ready?
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
I was going to start with definitions similarly to what ANCOM did. So I'll just remind everybody, hate speech as defined by the UN is any kind of communication in speech, writing, or behavior that attacks or uses pejorative or discriminatory language with reference to a person, a group on the basis of identity, which is pretty straightforward. I think this fits with, how we use the term in society. The other term that my opponent defined was not actually a definition of hate speech. I was provided with the source for this term, and I looked into it, and it was simply the UN saying things that should be illegal rather than a definition of hate speech. But, slight fucking discrepancy there. Moving on. Hate speech itself may cause emotional pain or psychological stress. That is something that can happen, but unless it's backed by actual force or a credible threat, as defined by the World Health Organization, who cites the intentional use of physical force or power to do violence, right, is necessary. So unless it's backed by actual force or a credible threat, it doesn't meet the bar of violence. Saying something offensive or hateful is not the same as punching someone or threatening their life, or denying them access to food, shelter, and safety. Words alone don't break bones. They don't deprive someone of shelter. They don't use force. If we start calling every mean or hateful comment violence, then we're stretching the definition so far that it loses its meaning. And here's the problem with that. Once you blur the line between speech and violence, you open the door to censorship. Suddenly, anything that makes someone uncomfortable could be labeled violent, a harsh opinion, a controversial joke, a political rant, all gone. It's not protecting people by labeling hate speech as violent. It's shutting down free speech, and in a democracy, free speech matters, even when it's ugly. We already have laws for speech that does cross the line into violence. If someone threatens you, harasses you, or incites violence, that's not protected. It's already illegal, and it's already considered violence in its own right. But general hate speech is protected because we believe in the power of open dialogue. We believe that the best way to fight bad ideas is with better ones, not by banning them. In fact, merely by being in this debate, ANCOM agreed with that premise. So yeah, hate speech sucks. It's stupid. It's not violence. It's not force. It's not power in the way that the World Health Organization defines power. That distinction is incredibly important. Labeling all hate speech as violent would only create a system wherein dissenting opinions, or even just like a bad breakup if some mean words are said, are criminalized and shut down. Thank you. I cede my 20 seconds.
All right, there you go. 2 minutes going to be on the clock for you to use if you would like to. ANCOM, ready for cross-examination?
Let's do it.
Cool.
So in your opening, you mentioned again the definition of violence as use of physical force or power. Can you tell me how the UN defined power in their document on this subject?
No, I use the World Health Organization violence definition that you provided, being the intentional use of physical force or power, threatened or actual, against a person or group that it's likely to result in injury.
Yes.
Blah,
So
blah,
this
blah.
came from a document in the World Health Organization called the World Report on Violence and Health. And in this document, they indicate that they included the word power because it's not just physical force that they consider to be violence. They also included things like power relations or power relationships, threats and intimidation. Those are all forms of power, if not direct
threats and intimidation
force.
are already violence in their own right. That is not lumped into the definition of hate speech by the UN. Well, it's separate. It's not the only thing in this definition of hate speech.
Okay, but you agree that that the definition, even the other or the first definition I went over, does condemn things like intimidation and intimidation and discrimination.
Yeah, intimidation is violence, and it is illegal and already not a form of free speech.
Okay, so the question then is, when I said that I don't necessarily think all violence should be made illegal, and then you brought up censorship, which was not a point that I made, that was a weird redirect that had nothing to do with my argument.
That was my opening.
Why was that brought
about
up?
your argument? That was my opening, because when you start
I'm going to go ahead and open the
wait,
5 minutes cross. Go ahead and just keep going.
When you start calling things violent, inherently that is going to lead to more action being done to combat violence. What is a way that happens? And when it comes to speech, that is going to be censorship.
Okay, but
unless you just want rampant violence around
actually,
society with no fucking response, that's weird.
I think, like I said, I think there's a lot of violence that gets done all the time that we don't do anything to punish. Like, we have literal use of force used against people, against protesters that we're seeing all the time that doesn't get punished because the state happens to be the one doing it and they're fine with it. So I don't understand this idea that, like,
cases that do get punished. Just because a system is biased does not mean that it's allowed under the system.
I mean, that is an argument made entirely on whether or not the system actually enforces its own rules against itself, and I think we can see pretty clearly the majority of the time it does not. So effective allowance, clearly it is allowed.
Clearly it's allowed, yet there's a cop in a couple cities away from me that's currently serving 20 years for excessive use of force. So
sure, and I can probably find 200 cops within a 100-mile radius of that guy who have done severe unwarranted violence that nothing has been, not even like charges being brought against them, much less any sort of acquittal.
In a similar way, rape is illegal, but rape is rarely ever prosecuted. Just because it's not commonly prosecuted does not make it not illegal, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, legality doesn't always have an impact on what we actually do when these cases come up. Just because something is against the law doesn't mean that we actually do anything about it. We've been seeing a president break the law, violate the Constitution on a near constant basis over the last 9 months, and little to none is done about it because the people who actually have the power to hold him accountable for those actions simply don't do that. So you're making an argument based on what should be done. I'm making an argument based on what actually is done.
My argument is actually that if we call this violence, which it is not violence in the first place, but if we call this violence, if we call somebody saying a slur violence, or somebody calling for the president to be taken out of office violence, if we call for if we call these things violence, the state will use it to their own benefit. That's where the censorship comes in. No matter who it is, whether it's Trump calling Antifa terrorists because words are violent, or whether it's Democrats saying that Trump needs to be put on a stake because his words are violent. Again, he has done more than just words. But, like, these things are going to be used by the state to benefit the power in party, the party in power.
Yeah, what the state will do with some particular definition doesn't really matter how I choose to define something. I call
Great,
things
let's get
as
to that
I
fucking
see them.
definition. As I just said, I don't think words are violent. So let's get to talking about that. If I say I don't like trans people, is that violent?
Okay, what? Saying that you don't like trans people without any further context in the current political environment that we find ourselves in, yeah, I would say there's a little bit of violent rhetoric in that. Now, does it get to the level of
how am I being violent? Wait, no. How am I
anything-
being violent? That meets the hate speech definition by the UN. How am I being violent?
by
Describe
saying
that
that
to me.
you don't like trans people?
No, but me saying I don't like trans people. How am I being violent? Describe that, because you're saying hate speech is violence. So this is hate speech. How is it violent?
You are saying this in an environment where trans people are already heavily marginalized, heavily attacked, and by saying you don't like trans people, you are, I grant you a very, very small amount, informing and supplying that additional fuel to the already existing fire that exists against trans people. So
Okay,
you
so
are
because other
providing
people
additional
don't like,
rhetoric,
wait, no. Because other people don't like trans people, I can't say that I don't. How about this? Let me change
I never
the
said
change
wait,
the
wait,
equation
no,
for you.
Hold on. I never
I don't
said
like
that
white
you
people.
couldn't say
How
it.
is that violent?
That one isn't.
Oh, but that's hate speech.
No, it's not.
Really?
There's no power
It's using
behind it.
it's using
There's-
a pejorative
there's
or
no
discriminatory language with
behind
reference
it.
to a group on the basis of the race. How is that not? How? How is that not hate speech? And how is that not violent? Or how is that violence?
It's not violence because there's no power behind the statement.
Correct, but
There's
it
no
is hate
power
speech.
relationship.
Correct,
No,
but it is hate
I don't think it
speech.
is.
How does it not fit the definition? It is
Because there's no
speech
existing
that attacks
discrimination
or
against white
uses-
people.
because there does not need to be existing discrimination against white people by the UN definition that is provided that we have both seen. There does not need to be existing discrimination against a group for hate speech to be used against them.
There's no incitement to discrimination. You're not saying that you want anything to
The
be
definition
done
does
to
not
white
require
people.
incitement. The definition is any kind of communication in speech, writing, or behavior that attacks or uses pejorative or discriminatory language with reference to a person or a group on the basis of their identity. Your definition of violence does require incitement at times, but not the definition of hate speech.
I mean, this is why I provided multiple definitions of
The
hate
definition you
speech.
provided just defined hate speech as violence, effectively. That's all
No,
that your definition provided.
advocacy of national, religious, or racial or religious hatred that constitutes incitement to discrimination, hostility, or violence. If that's not a
How do you
definition of hate
define
speech, then I
incitement,
don't know
bro?
what is.
Because it is broader than that. When people talk about hate speech, right? We're talking
Yep.
about fucking anybody on Twitch, chatters, you guys. When people talk about hate speech, it's not just incitement to violence. It is never just what they're talking about. If that was the case, I've never heard Charlie Kirk do hate speech. At the end of the day, hate
you've
speech is a
never
broader
used-
concept. It is hateful speech. It is broader than
I mean,
just
I've heard Charlie Kirk incite multiple acts of violence against various groups. That is a ridiculous claim.
Do you think that flag burning incites a riot?
No.
But Trump says that it does. So that is flag burning incitement? What are you calling incitement?
No.
Anything can be called incitement if you just say it is.
To provoke or urge on, what part of burning a flag provokes or urges a riot?
The government thinks it does.
I don't give a shit what the government thinks, because I look at the actual practicality of what's happening.
At the end of the day, what I'm saying is that incitement can mean fucking anything if you ask the right person. Incitement
any of these words can mean anything if you
itself is hateful fucking conduct. It's hateful speech, right? What I provided you with, I hate white people. That is hateful speach.
Actually, you said you don't like white people. You didn't say hate.
Sorry, I'll change my example to I hate white people. Jesus Christ. This is hateful speech against a specific identity group. That is hate speech. Come on.
I did indicate that not all hate speech was violent, so yes, I will grant. Saying I hate white people is hate speech. It's not particularly violent, but sure.
Okay, and your claim does not allow for you to have that that nuance. Your claim is that hate speech is violent. That is your side to this debate. Hate speech is violent.
Except my claim, if you roll back the tape, was that not all hate speech is inherently violent. It has the potentiality for violence.
And not all people are violent. They all have the potentiality to be violent. That means fucking nothing.
Yes.
Your side of this debate that you chose is hate speech is violent. And you yourself are admitting that, well, that hate speech is not violent.
Yes, because I was asked to give a yes or no answer to something, and I'm bringing in more nuance to the discussion during the actual discussion. But sure, you're pegging me to a very specific interpretation of it.
I'm debating the topic. You're trying to change it.
Hold on there, Gorps. So I just want to say that conversation showed me that no, 10 minutes is not too long. I almost would like to hear some more, but I'm going to go ahead and cut it off right there because people do have bedtimes. So that said, great job from both of you guys. Judges, if either of you guys have any questions that you think got missed or need to be asked, now is an excellent time for you to just DM me in Discord what they are. That way I can ask the debaters directly instead of you guys having to do it, and they don't get to watch your reactions and be able to change on the fly or whatever. But that said, I'm going to go ahead and give you guys each, I'm going to put the 5 minutes on the clock for your closings. Do not feel obligated to use the whole thing. However, it is there if you do want it. We're going to go in the same order that we went opening. That means that Ancom, you're going to give me up to 5 minutes for a closing. Are you ready to go, sir?
Yep.
All right, 5 minutes, go.
During our debate, you saw my opponent continually misrepresent my argument and bring up straw men against something I never actually argued, tying me to a simplistic prompt that I provided nuance on in my opening, and yet completely ignored that. I made it fairly clear that hate speech has the potential to do harm, specifically psychological harm, to people, and even can do so en masse. And by that measure, it makes sense that hate speech, which creates that harm, is violent. And that's not even adding to the fact that hate speech contributes to social and psychological ideas by actors who then go out and do actual violence. They don't have to be directly incited. Many times, it's just being exposed to the rhetoric that ends up creating that violence. So I don't see how my opponent doesn't understand the idea that hate speech can, in fact, be violent, and therefore we should be more careful about what we say. I'm not saying we should censor anything. That's ridiculous. It's too much of a continuum problem. You can't decide where precisely hate speech begins and the freedom should be taken away. But there is an understanding that being more careful about what we say about who we can harm is a useful idea for people to understand and for people to learn about in their everyday interactions with others. And I will end my closing with that.
Very good. And we're going to go ahead and kick it over to Gorps. You ready for your 5 minutes closing, sir?
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
I'll start by addressing my opponent's final points there. He claimed that his point was not addressed. I argued the prompt. He wanted to change that because he was not arguing the prompt. He was not even arguing for his own side of the prompt. The prompt is, essentially, hate speech is violence. He himself admitted that not all hate speech is violent. And then he tried to change his argument just to suit it. But at the end of the day, he wasn't arguing for his own side. To the point about speech itself having the possibility of being violent, the violence definition that we agreed on requires an intentional usage of power or force to do some form of harm. He never actually stood by or showed that, me saying I hate white people is an intentional use of power or force. While at the end of the day, that is hate speech. Again, not all hate speech is violent. And then he decided to bring in that being exposed to the rhetoric creates violence. The rhetoric being that of, a society which has hate speech, right? But he gave away the hook there. Being exposed to the rhetoric creates violence. So the rhetoric itself is not the violence. It is somebody doing violence that is truly the violence. To bring this all back, at the end of the day, hate speech, the broad category of hate speech, is not violence. Is there some things that could be characterized as hate speech that is violent? Yes, of course. These are things that are broadly already illegal. This is harassment. This is stalking, I suppose, could fit here. But this is harassment. This is abuse. This is stuff like that is already illegal, that is already considered violence in its own right. The broader category of hate speech is not wholeheartedly violent. Thank you. I see the rest of my time.
All right, good stuff. Now, first things first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the thank you for that, Rook. I'm going to go ahead and put the next poll. This is the closing poll. I want everybody out there who can see that. Click it. It costs you nothing. Give me a vote. See where you stand on the positioning now. We do have a question from a judge, and I'm going to go ahead and put 1 minute on the clock for each of the debaters. This is mostly for the judge's decision, but this can also weigh in for the voters out there in chat. So I'm going to go to the affirmative first. ANCOM. The judge has asked for you to please define violence, and also, is hate necessary component of violence? Go ahead whenever you're ready.
I mean, the provided definition of violence that we gave throughout the debate is as good as any I was able to find. Intentional use of physical force or power, threatened or actual, against oneself, another person, against a group or community that either results in or has a high likelihood of resulting in injury, death, psychological harm, maldevelopment, or deprivation. As far as whether or not hate is required for violence, no, absolutely not. Violence can be committed under any number of circumstances, of which hate is but one.
All right, good stuff. Gorp, same question. How do you personally define violence? Was it define violence? And then, is hate a necessary component for violence? Go ahead when you're ready.
I mean, me and my opponent both agreed on the definition. I think that it's important to note that the intentional use of physical force or power is a pretty important part of that violence. But at the end of the day, hate does not need to be involved at all for violence. You can have violence in self-defense. You can have violence in a million different forms. It's not necessary. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, good stuff. All right, so without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and open it up. You know what? I'm going to give it to, I gave it to the other guy first this time. I'm going to let Grid go first.
Okay.
Grid?
Grid. That's
man.
the judge. That is correct.
Yeah,
First of all,
I'll.
where did you put it, and then also kind of sort of why and feedback.
So I actually gave this to Gorp, and it was really, really close. And Cap or and Con
And calm.
That was such an insult. That was so mean.
Sorry.
It happens all the time. I'm used to it.
Sorry. All right. Well, anyway, your arguments were good, but you did concede the point, and he was really good about just saying, "Yeah, but." Right? Like he would acknowledge that this thing, and he would go, "Yeah, but." And when he used the what if I just say I don't like trans people? Is that hate speech? Well, it's obviously not hate speech, but you defined it as hate speech, and he trapped you there. He did it on purpose. I watched him do it. It was just beautiful the way he executed it. So just saying I don't like something cannot ever be hate speech. Otherwise, you have no freedom of opinion. You have no agency. We've removed that from you. So there's, maybe, in the UN that might work because, they don't have freedom of speech. But here we're talking something different.
Actually, they actually do. But anyways, it's not a big
deal.
Well,
I don't know. I don't pay attention to the UN, but
right.
Well,
again,
here that wouldn't work because because I can say I don't like whatever, and nobody can say anything about it. So, and that's kind of where you lost me. But you made some good arguments. I really don't have any other feedback for you. You did really, really well. You as a matter of fact, I kind of dinged him a little bit because it was very obvious that I could watch his eyes tracking as he was reading part of his opening and closing. So I kind of dinged him a little bit on that. You were very much better off the cuffs. So it was really close, but I got to give it to Gorp. So
I will say my opening was not prepared. I was calling back to notes I made about what he said.
There you go. All right. Now, Rampage, you go by Rampage, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Paul,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No.
But overall, regardless, it doesn't matter. But overall, I do think that Ancom, I'm not going to, how do I want to say this? Ancom, I love you. You know I love you, buddy.
I know you do. Just give it to me straight. I'm autistic. I'm not going to take anything personally.
Okay, so this is really what it comes down to, is that there was both sides, that actually did, for instance, when it talked about like hate speech coming down to violence, and then he Gorps is what you go by, correct?
Yeah, Gorps.
Yes. And he basically said like, well, your side does it. He said that during your opening, for instance, where it just basically comes down to that. But overall, I do think that I have to give this a Gorps as well, because you did kind of admit mid-debate that hate speech at the end of the day doesn't really completely go to violence. And that's really just where I have to say about it all, is that you did a great job overall. Honestly, you did. But you did kind of just like give him the, hey, you know what? I'm not arguing this point because of that anymore. And you beat him in the debate. You did, but you kind of lost on the actual topic of the debate. My personal opinion.
Fair enough. Thank you for the feedback.
So regardless of who won that one, I have to just put it out there. That was an absolute blast, and I fucking enjoyed the hell out of it. And I'm pretty sure that the audience did too, because the chat was going nuts the whole goddamn time. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and look over there and see where we were at on that. So the opening vote was, let's see, 66 on no and 33 on yes. And let's go back. And for the closing, we have 54 for the yes and 45 for the no. So the no actually went up on this as well. So with that
Audience,
said, I guess,
what the fuck?
Yeah. So all of y'all,
audience, you know,
Sergio, because I
Wait,
said
the
in the
audience
first one
gave
you
it
said
to-
66 no, 33 yes. Did I just mishear?
Maybe I was
Wait,
wrong.
the audience went with
Oh.
Ancom there?
Yeah, the audience
Yes.
did because he was right.
Yeah.
Corpse of the Empire.
Well,
Oh, no.
so there was actually one more vote just came in that tied it up to a 50-50,
Okay.
which seems kind of cheap. But I'm gonna when we called it at that, I had given them plenty of time. So we're gonna say that it didn't really matter. But the end definitely Okay, let's go back because you're right.
I just want to make sure I know the numbers. So the original vote was 66 or 2/3 no, 1/3 yes, correct?
Correct.
And
66,
then
33. No, backwards.
And then the
66 no, 33 yes.
Ancom is God.
That's what I said. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
2/3 no, 1/3 yes. And I was the yes. So and then
wait,
it
went up to
50-50.
So yes went one. You're right. Audience, you persuaded the audience. And thank you.
I want to make sure I get that 1 point, even though I lost the debate.
Nope.
It's worth it.
You persuaded the
That
audience.
1 point as far as ego.
Good shit.
It's because we all voted against Gord.
Yeah, no, actually, it's because y'all hate me. Fuck you.
I heard him.
I
speak,
don't
I had to
know
vote
you.
for
I
the
don't even know you.
opposition.
I love you, dude.
His
Personally,
voice
I don't know
annoys
why
me.
people hate groups. I think he was a very good debater there. You definitely caught me on a weak point, and there were a couple I floundered in a way where I had thought of a couple of other arguments that I meant to bring into this that just in the moment completely slipped my mind because you did send me flailing a little bit. So I will give you props on that.
And
Yeah,
I'll
Alderaan.
give you a tip. Every single debate I do, I get a gotcha.
Ancom.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Where'd you get this mic?
Your mic was all fucked up there.
Yeah,
where'd
your
you
mic
get
was
this?
kind of tripping balls there.
Sounds like it was an official.
Okay, I don't know if that's any better.
Well,
it is.
It's just funny because it's just funny because Ancom, I feel like overall you did beat Jorbs there, honestly. Like when it comes down to like logic and everything, but Jorbs, whatever. Jorbs is like a Slay the Spire guy, whatever. It doesn't matter. I like Slay the Spire, but anyways, but like in general, I feel like you were fighting against your side's premise the entire time because I don't think you do believe that.
Yeah, the problem is that
violence, right?
The problem is I believe the basic idea of the premise, but the way it was worded is more extreme than I agree with, and I wish I had thought to see if I could adjust the prompt slightly to be closer to what I actually believe. This was a case. One thing I can't do is I have a very hard time arguing for any point I don't actually believe. And so I try very hard not to do that because I just know that that is a level of intellectual dishonesty I just can't tolerate myself. So yeah,
this guy talks with his heart. He talks with his heart. Just remember
that's why I actually do the organization the way that I do is I try my best to find arguments that people believe passionately this way. I don't want to have there's a couple of debaters in my pool that will take and Game Boy's taking positions that
I was about to say better than me, man. Better than me. I'm taking a debate that I don't believe in at all.
There's about 5 or 6 debaters that I can call on if I need a prompt argued that'll be like, I can, but most people I don't try to push people to do that. So
Radish.
Please,
yes, sir.
Summon your
I
inner
will do
Alex
that.
Jones.
I will argue.
Whoa, Lucy, what did you say? I couldn't hear you.
Summon your inner Alex Jones, please. Just do it once.
Yeah, there you go.
No. God, no. No,
Or
I
Alex Jones.
I refuse.
Hang on, people. Let me hear what Gorps is saying. Go ahead.
I will argue a point that I wholeheartedly do not believe in if you put me up against Grufus.
All right, I will absolutely do that.
Fuck you, Gorp.
I will facilitate that.
That's half
I have to be honest.
Hey, Grufus.
Yeah,
Grufus.
Yeah.
If you ever want to do an ANCAP v ANCOM debate on horseradish, let me know. I'm happy to have that.
I will find a prompt for y'all.
I have to be honest, guys.
I will say,
if you can't argue both sides of the topic, you probably don't know the topic very well.
I just don't want to be publicly.
I don't disagree. I don't
favorite.
disagree with you. I don't disagree with you, by the way, but I think that 99% of people that say that they can debate both sides also can't debate both sides, even though they say that they can. So
Sure,
I don't disagree with you, but
99% of people lie.
I also think that
Favor.
like, you know,
Do me a
I
favor.
have debated
Debate-
both sides, so I can proudly say
Okay.
that.
Do me a favor. I want anybody in who says that they can debate both sides. Debate both sides of the argument on the legal age of consent should be lowered to 13. I want go ahead and show me argue both sides.
You're gonna try. You're gonna try and lay out the wash trap. Come on, man.
Really quick.
I won't do it.
I've already, I mean, I watched Nico try and make that argument. He failed.
Hold on.
miserably.
I mean, you can go down. You can go down with like a religious argument. Overall,
No, you
we're
can't.
saying that like it was like a. Well, you could say like, hey,
But we're not
is
doing that
okay.
right now. Just so you know, we're not doing that.
I'm
right
not
now.
going to actually do it. I don't know
Right,
the
right.
actual arguments. but
We've
you
got
could do
another
that.
debate
No.
here, and one of our judges does have a hard
The
out.
other side
'cause
obviously
then
would
it's-
say, obviously, they're
for sure.
children.
So again, we're not doing that debate. So we'll come back. There's an open panel
Hope we
after
don't
we're done with
do
the
it.
debates where we can talk about anything we want to. To answer your
I'd be
question
careful-
though.
I'd be careful debating that particular topic.
No,
on
we
Twitch,
won't do that
just
particular.
FYI.
Don't worry. No, I
Your
know. I
shit's
have no
still
interest
fucked-
in having
hey,
that
your
argument.
shit's still
But no,
fucked up,
what
by
I
the
was
way,
gonna
Cam,
say
on your
is,
mic.
yeah, your mic is still. It's like you're talking too close. I think you're talking too loud. Is what
Okay.
it is. I think that it's
That's
doing
probably
the like.
I
yeah,
moved
it's
it away
chirping
from
it
my
out.
mouth. Is that better now?
Yeah,
It is whenever
better, it is
yeah,
better.
you're not
Yeah, it is
peeking
better.
out. So Lonzo, to answer your question, I have many times on stream literally debated myself. I will go back and forth on a topic. I used to do that for like tips. So, or I would also give me a prompt that is TOS and I'll steel man it for you for 5 minutes. So again, I
You sure
understand
it's
not
not
everybody can,
schizophrenia? Debating yourself?
oh bro, that's literally, there is no silent moment in my fucking head. Every argument is constantly rolling nonstop. That's
might be
why I
crazy.
do what I do.
Just met him, but he might be crazy, boys.
He should be.
It's not a might be, bro.
committed.
There are letters that I can put out before my name that prove your point. But again, so back to it. We're gonna go ahead and debate. I'm gonna drop the chat one more time in that comes after different words. So I'm gonna put the chat one more time. Everybody out there, go ahead and click that name or that link right there. It costs you absolutely nothing to vote, unlike the real world. Go ahead and click that and tell us where you stand on this prompt before we start. We're about to have two debaters go at it on facts don't care about your feelings. This conversation came up. Two debaters, that's right. And the fact of the matter is there's a good chance this is going to be the spiciest, most bad faith fucking debate of the night. So that said, I'm sorry for you judges in advance. Now, this came up in a conversation.
Really quick.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
sorry,
Yes, sir.
really quick. Just because
No, what's up?
I'm new to everything.
Yes, you are.
How much longer are we thinking here? Like another
5
hour,
hours.
2
5
hours,
hours.
5 hours.
If you need to go,
Another
Leafy can
day.
slide right into
No,
the
I
judge.
don't need to go. I'm just mentally preparing myself. That's all.
So I'm
this is a
going to
5-hour
midnight.
arena.
I'm going to midnight
It's a
PST, but that
3
you
hour war.
Midnight
after the
PST,
next
okay,
debate.
that's fine.
If you let me finish though, after this next debate, I open up the panel to anybody out in the chat who's been either vetted or vouched for, and everybody can kind of come in and be able to say whatever they think didn't get said, because something that I don't want to happen unintentionally is for a bad point to come out looking like it's a good point just because there was a bad person representing that position. Does that make sense?
I remember.
So basically,
Yeah.
people can pour in afterwards and yell at each other and fucking go nuts about anything. And that's the after party conversation can go wherever it wants within TOS for fuck's sake. But that said, it goes till midnight, but the next debate is going to be about 30 minutes. And then if the judges need to go, they're welcome. And I appreciate you sticking around, Grid. I know we're going a little bit late for you, buddy.
Yeah, it's all right. I just
He
have to
says
answer
three
my
on.
wife. I mean, you know.
I hear you. I do
I have a
understand.
I got a wife too. Don't worry about it. We just
Yeah.
let them sleep.
Fortunately, I
Yeah.
am the leader in my household, so you know it is.
There
what
you
it is.
go. All
Sam,
right.
you gotta put them in their place.
Tell
sometimes.
myself
I would
don't
say
Oh
me
my
too, but she
God.
might be listening. You know what I'm saying?
So back in the chat, you guys go ahead and click that if you're ready. My next debate is going to be facts don't care about your feelings. This came up in a conversation with another streamer out in the chat, Odd Rook. And of course, we've all heard this particular prompt come from certain content creators, and it's just an interesting thing that it seems like some people may have changed their mind about since they first started saying it. So I want to hear people argue it out and see if there's anything to this. So we've got Lonzo Kennedy down here right beneath me. Ooh, we actually have people lined up this time. Lonzo Kennedy on the negative, down below me, and we've got Game Boy 64 up above me. That's the rails up there. Who is going to be debating the affirmative, feeling that facts don't care about your feelings. 3 minutes is on the clock for you there, Game Boy. Are you ready to go, sir?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me all
go
right?
ahead. We can indeed. Go ahead.
I know both the judges. I don't know. But me and Lonzo both said we didn't really prepare much before this, but I did Google some definitions. The first thing I'd like to make clear is I'm not making a Ben Shapiro argument. For God's sakes, I'm not saying anything about the trans stuff. I will concede that how a person is feeling, like emotionally, does affect the facts regarding their emotions. That's like if I'm sad and you say, well, haha, your emotions, like the facts of your emotions are affected by your emotions. Like, of course, me being sad is a fact because I'm sad. That's not a contradiction with my claim. But my concern is what are facts and are they dependent on how a person's feeling? I think facts correspond or mirror reality, and I think feelings are separate from like your sensations, your touch, your or your experience. Like, do I witness this? Is that a fact? If I do not witness certain information around a subject, that doesn't change that subject and the truth behind it. If I don't see a cat, that doesn't mean the cat doesn't exist. What the fact is that cat is black. Me hearing that the cat is blue does not change what the cat is. Lonzo, during this debate, has to not only prove that the material world, like the facts of the material world, are affected by human emotion, but not only that, but the individual's knowledge or experience of that does not affect it. Just because like your sensory touch, you feeling sad because the cat's black, you feeling angry because Lefty is balding, does not mean that Lefty isn't balding. It just means that you feel sad over it. That's the important distinction I'll have to make, is a material truth. This is real, this is the nature of that thing, and the epistemic truth of here is what we witness, here is how we feel about the thing. And I think that is an important distinction, because when we say facts don't care about your feelings, we're talking about the material facts regarding that situation, the facts around the world, how they correspond with reality. If I make a statement, that is a truthful statement because it mirrors reality, and not how I feel about it or how my feelings could affect it. That is not the me witnessing it. That's not like quantum physics or anything like that. And it's not my knowledge of that thing. It is just how it exists in material reality. That is what a fact is. And I'll concede the rest of my time.
Good stuff. Going to put 2 minutes on the clock there, Lonzo. If you have any questions for Game Boy, are you ready to go for the cross X, sir?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Now, Game Boy, my first question here is: do you perceive this to be a question that is? I mean, because you said that you've already defined it, kind of, but doesn't it seem more like a philosophical question than it is an actual statement itself?
I think you can have both. A statement that is philosophical is still a statement, and it's still philosophical.
No. You can't have both. This is a statement that is quite literally in its definition. If you take it out of philosophy, it is directly one meaning. There's no complexity. This wouldn't even be a debate. Now, the thing that I'm saying this for, the thing I'm saying this for is because when you look at this question and you think about it for a second, facts do not care about feelings. Now, when something is to be defined as caring about it, it needs to affect it in some way. Feelings do affect facts. You can't deny that. Now, actually, do you deny that?
I am
do you believe that feelings?
That.
You do? Okay. Now, I'm going to give you a quick statement here. If you take, this is a quote from a person, if you take a dog, let's say the rules require that that a duck is a tax write-off, and you take a dog, and the rules say that a duck is a thing with a beak and a tail, and you put a beak on a dog, paint it orange, and you give it to them for a tax write-off, does that make it a duck?
No.
What's
the point?
You're gonna hear. Technically, it does, because the facts of it is that that's the requirement of it. However, those facts were designed by how we feel should be the requirements for it to be a fact. The
That's
definition
thoughts.
and the
That's
thing that
thinking. Your feeling are the emotions you perceive
no,
when you witness something.
no, because definitionally, we both know that that is not the case. The person who made that
I
statement,
looked up the
definition,
definitions.
the
There's a
person
difference
who
between
made up the
thinking and
statement,
your
the person
feelings
who
of
made the
these things.
statement about that making it a duck was the person who did the Enron scandal.
All right, and that's time. So I'm going to go ahead and give it 3 minutes on the clock. Lonzo, you can roll this straight into your opening and go ahead.
All right. Facts and feelings, emotions are seen as separate, but they're completely tied together. In debate, facts and emotions are two of the most vital things to a debate. You can use factual information to back emotional appeal for people, but the reality is that in a debate, the most important thing is to appeal to the person's emotions who you are trying to the people's emotions, not the person you're debating, but obviously the people who are listening. The reason I say this is because the statement that facts do not care about feelings is an absurd statement to make. You cannot make a statement about not caring about something when you're not on the high ground of the thing that you're not caring about. Facts come second to feelings. You can't say that they don't care about the thing that actually has more effect than them. For example, if the facts were more important than feelings, then we wouldn't have the current administration, nor would we even have a Republican Party in the first place, since they're built entirely off of emotional appeal. You can't state that facts do not care about the thing that is more important than it. Okay, now, next thing I say to that is that you need emotional appeal, or not even emotional appeal, but you need emotions to design what the facts are in the first place. You can say that facts are definitional and there's a science behind it or whatever. You can say that all you want, but as I gave the example earlier about making a dog into a duck because it's a use for tax write-off can show how the facts and the definitions that we give can be designed by what we perceive, and what we perceive is our emotion and how we feel. Facts come second. There's no other way to look at that. Now, if we're sitting here debating on some type of scientific theory or whatever about how, we're not doing a theory of relativity or whatever, we're not arguing about that. We're arguing about what the facts, as in debate, in political discourse, and that is where the facts come from. You don't get the decision on if illegal immigrants are a threat to the country and they're dangerous and they're coming here taking jobs from an actual factual study that somebody did. Let's be honest. It comes from emotions. And if you say it enough times, as we've said it over the past 40, 50 years now, it becomes a factual statement to most people. That is where these come from. And the people who created this statement in the first place, facts don't care about your feelings, were people who created the facts by repeating the same things over and over again. That's how we made this. That's it.
And that's time. All right, very good. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 minutes on there for you to go ahead and directed cross-examine. Are you ready for that, Game Boy? All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So you made, there's a distinction between three kind of facts that you kind of laid out. You first said, well, they created social facts of oh, well, Ben Shapiro made the facts when he said this and spread these ideas. And you also said, well, facts to me don't matter as much. But don't you think that there's a third option of facts how they are, in reality? Like I said, mirroring what reality is. If the duck is white, then the duck is white, and that's a truthful statement, and it's a factual statement. Because of what? Not because of what society
What does that do with
says.
political discourse?
That it's not about political discourse.
No, but that is directly what this whole entire statement.
Look at
it's
the
not.
prompt.
That's not where the statement came from. This prompt didn't come from political
I didn't
discourse.
say
That's
where
not
the
the intentional
statement came
focus of this
from.
entire
I just
statement.
said what the prompt is.
No. You're sitting here trying to make you're trying to make an actual dictionary definition example here. And I'm trying to tell you that this is a philosophical argument.
About?
No, this is a philosophical argument. Let's be honest here. And let you be honest with yourself here. This is a philosophical argument. It is not about what you consider it to be. I mean, it is about what you consider it to be. It is not about what the textbook definition or dictionary says it is. Do not
Those
sit
are
here
both
and
in the same thing. If you don't have the definitions, you can't make that's the premises that lead up to a conclusion.
So then tell me, the people who created this whole statement, or the people who started using this as their phrase, facts don't care about feelings. What was their intention behind that?
That's not the debate.
Okay, so then that's not what the debate is about. So then what are we addressing this for?
The debate is about facts care about your feelings?
if we're listen, man, if we're addressing this from a literal definitional standpoint of facts, if facts care about feelings,
what the
then
statement
technically
says.
the obvious answer to that would be no, because facts physically
Then
can't
you
do that.
conceded the
But
point.
we're making a philosophical question. Your question
Why
wouldn't
would you
make sense
concede
for
the
a debate. It wouldn't be a actual debate if that was the question, because you're asking.
There
like
are
that'd be like
people
saying
who debate
you're
this.
using no way you don't. This is a definitional thing that doesn't make sense.
I'm gonna go ahead and put 5 minutes on the clock. Y'all just
That
go ahead
wouldn't
and
be
we'll roll right into it.
That wouldn't be a debate topic. Do you understand what we are saying right now? That would not be
I
a
have
debate
read
topic.
the prompt,
This is
and that's what I
clearly
agreed to.
philosophical. The argument that they made back then with Ben Shapiro, them would have clearly was used as an.
Did I not make clear in like my first statement that I didn't want to make an argument based off
Exactly.
of what
You
Ben
made that
Shapiro
clear
said?
because you knew that would be an impossible thing to argue against, but that's because that's just what's the word for it? That's not in good faith, and you know it's not, because you know what the
What
meaning
do you
of this
mean not
entire
in good
phrase is.
faith?
It's philosophical. You know that. If you're going to sit here and argue the
What do you mean
definition,
by
then you
it's
know that is not in
philosophical?
good
Like,
faith.
can you like take a step back and say, okay,
When I'm saying that, I
here's
mean
why
that you
this
should
is
be
an issue?
interpreting it the way that they were using it. It did not mean in a
but-
literal sense that facts do not care about feelings. It meant that they held facts to a higher degree than feelings or emotional appeal, which wasn't even true, because that was not the way that they debated if you listen to anything that they say. So clearly they themselves
because they
valued
wanted
emotions over factual information while saying that that wasn't the case. But you're trying to debate
even have
that
to make
facts
an
somehow are
argument
second.
against this
I mean,
because
the
you
facts
already
are somehow
conceded
primary
my
to it,
point.
no, I did not. I'm trying to make the point of what the argument is even centered around, and you're trying to make the debate into something of a definition. We're not going to whip out a fucking dictionary and have this debate. Are you serious right now? Do you understand that this
I was trying to okay, go on to what you're saying.
We both know what facts are. We can't make an argument around if facts care about feelings.
You've also
that doesn't
said,
make
well,
sense.
they made it into facts. Well, what does that mean? How can they make it into a factual statement?
I was saying that through emotional appeal and through the repeated argument of different talking points that they had, they made the general consensus, things that people looked at and said that is a fact, such as, like, I'll put this, things that you could get the general consensus on and ask them this, majority of people would just believe to be true, is the facts. Let's be honest here. The things that they say are facts are that, not the definitional truth of what a fact is, because they have never used those. Now, the fact that you're trying to argue the position that facts, as in literal facts, things that are scientifically proven to be not caring about emotions, makes this very disingenuous, because you know that wouldn't be a fucking argument. Like what? Like we're arguing bullshit.
It has been an argument in the past. It's just not
to
been
who?
an argument.
To who? They've been arguing if facts are facts.
Postmodernist. Like, and I don't agree with that philosophically.
Can we get back to? We have to at least set a goddamn parameter to this, because this won't make any sense. You have to understand that point.
Okay, and you didn't set a parameter in your
My parameter is that
statement.
this is a philosophical question that should be asked off of what their intention of saying facts and feelings were, and that's what I'm trying to set right now, man.
And
so
I think that's beyond the prompt and onto the original context of the sentence, which if I stoop to that level, that is going away from the prompt, and that would be selling the debate over something that is not relevant to the prompt at all. Like, whenever you hear, do facts care about feelings, and take that away from the context of Ben Shapiro and the conservatives, is that statement true in of itself? And that's what I'm having the debate on. And if I say, well, no, okay, let's look at what they meant, then I would be arguing for something completely different that is entirely in defense of them and not the statement itself, what facts are, what the feelings affect the facts. And you have brought up twice now, okay, well, this is facts for us, facts for me as a person, and here's emotional appeal that goes into that.
No, not for me as a person, for the general consensus. That's what my point is, that the people who were making that statement were ones who were trying to reinforce their biased opinions on everybody as a considerable fact. No.
Okay, but you've agreed that general consensus is not a literal fact in of itself, right?
Yes, but that is the facts that we are discussing right now,
So
and not the
general
literal
con-
textbook
no,
definition.
no,
That's
no,
the
no.
first thing.
I've
No,
defined
yes,
facts in
it is
my
the first
opening
one. I don't
thing
give a
as
fuck
something
what your
derived.
definition is. I'm trying to tell you what my parameters were and why I stepped into this debate and what I looked at this as, not what you consider it to be. If you wanted to sit here and argue about what the textbook definition of what facts were, you can go fucking talk to ANCOM. I'm not here to do that. I'm trying to tell you that this is a debate about their use of facts, what their definition
Why
of
would
facts
I
was.
care about
No,
their use?
I don't give a fuck what you care about. That is the point of this debate, man. That is the point. That
No
is
one
the
said that.
we're 15 minutes in, and we haven't set that foundation yet.
Because that was never brought up in any of the prompts or anything that we've talked about before. If that's what you wanted to debate on, you should have like messaged me or something.
Because this isn't. Go ahead.
So we're actually going to go ahead and I think we can stop it there because I'm afraid if we keep going, you guys are going to be talking past each other. So that said, I'm going to go ahead and leave that 5 minutes on the clock for each of you guys to do your closing. You don't need to use the whole thing, but whenever you're ready, that's Game Boy first. Game Boy, you ready for your close?
Sure.
All right, cheers. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was kind of rage bait. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't mean it to turn out that way, but to my point, I think that whenever I looked at the prompt, and I think this is the reason we didn't really have much of a debate, I was looking at it deprived of its context, in spite of
This is
Ben
your closing.
Shapiro and all of that. I know I'm getting there, and so whenever I looked at facts, I wasn't looking at general consensus. I wasn't looking at how do you appeal to a certain individual. I was looking at facts as concrete things. And I've heard people make the arguments, though I wasn't familiar with it well enough to, and I didn't research it at all, of facts aren't things, they're what we as a general population agree upon. So whenever Lonzo conceded that point and said, well, facts are things and not just general consensus, although we reach it through certain means, like through emotional appeal and all that, like as if those were possibilities, I felt that was conceding my point very quickly, as facts don't care about your feelings because they are concrete things. Your feelings are how you approach those facts in reality and how a public approaches those facts. And I don't know how Lonzo expected me to approach that. I don't know if he was thinking that if I held a political belief on certain things, that political belief is first and foremost true if the general public has certain feelings towards that thing. But I tried to avoid actually going into that rabbit hole because I felt like it was very surface level. Here's what the prompt meant, and how it would here's how it would be interpreted in spite of Ben Shapiro, which I would like the judges and the general population to see if that was the correct approach, because really it is just how would you approach this prompt in a debate if you were given it. But I'll let Lonzo continue his point and see what he actually meant by that. I'll concede the rest of my time.
Cheers. And by the way, judges, if either of you has something that you want to ask, remember, just go ahead and hit me up, direct message me. I'm going to go ahead and put 5 minutes on the clock for you, Lonzo. Again, you don't feel obligated to use the whole thing, but go ahead and give it to us. Put a bow on it. Go ahead.
My mic. Hold up. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, I would just like to say that I was basically so I was actually hoping I would go first so that I could have made my definition clear from the very start, which kind of worried me when I realized that Game Boy was going first, and I was like, oh, he's gonna just go in there and say some his shit. So my point was hoping that we could sit here and debate this on their level of meaning, you know, how these people who are using this in debate to basically go after mostly college students and stuff like that, but like the Charlie Kirk type of thing. They're like Ben Shapiro, you know. Well, I don't know if he's Charlie Kirk used it, but specifically like the thing of like stating scientific facts or this and that when they weren't really backed by science, but like a couple of discoveries, whatever. And it was really a thing of, if I say this enough, I can get the general consensus to be this, such as trans people or some type of like mental illness and stuff like that. Things that aren't scientifically true, but are just things that if you say enough, the general public will agree on. Now, my point was that those were the facts that they were talking about. My point was that those facts are not that those facts were entirely built off of emotional appeal, meaning that the first step to creating that fact is emotional appeal, but also that other facts that we see is like things that we generally look at, things that are very important to us in our day-to-day lives. A lot of the times are built off of what we believe and what we see, what we think, and it's not scientific method, but like generally the consensus on something, even if it's not completely true. I mean, if you don't believe me, we're using tons of stuff that was definitely not better for us even 60, 50 years ago, that the general consensus was that it was. And I'm not going to say here and go through the fucking list because I mean, it's a lot of things, but it's not true that facts and emotions are completely separate. They're not. Facts don't trump all emotional appeal. They don't somehow just out. They're just emotions are done in a situation. No, facts are part of it. And if anything, they're a lesser part to a degree because facts don't ever appeal to people most of the time. But they can be affected by emotions. Some people, mostly libertarians, want to say that that's not true. They want to believe that facts, and if you say the right thing, it will always be correct, as in to the general public. It will always be correct because it's a fact, because it's a true statement. But it's not. That's not how it works. I mean, personally, I don't agree with that, but that's the way that I see it, and that's the way that most people see it. So I don't know. I mean, like, because I get that what I'm saying here is general. What I'm saying here isn't exact. But the problem is that everybody's thinking that what I'm trying to say is literally definitionally facts. It's not, because they themselves were not doing that. And if you're going to sit here and look at the people who were not using that statement in good faith, and then tell me that I should then use that statement in good faith in itself, is just dumb. You're making an unfair argument. And if you're not going to perceive it that way, then you're not going to win these debates in the first place. So, yeah, that's it. Like,
all right. Good stuff. Left 2 minutes on the table there. That's okay. So it looks like we did not have any questions coming in from the judges this time. So I will assume that means that you guys have both made your decisions. You look like you actually did have a question there, Rampage. At least that's what your hand gestures seem to indicate, but you didn't message me. So hit me with a DM or did you DM me through Twitch or something?
I DM'd the wrong person. I apologize.
No worries. Go ahead. That's fine. Go ahead and hit me with the question now. And we'll go ahead and throw that out there. But with that said, I'm going to go ahead and drop
Can't insult the judge.
I'm going to go ahead and drop the link for the second vote. This is the post vote. Everybody go ahead and click that one right there. Go vote for where you stand on this prompt after listening to these two interlocutors give you their all. And I'm going to go ahead and look over here at, still waiting on that DM. I'm going to put 1 minute on the clock.
Can I just
yeah, sure. There you go. That's absolutely.
Because people know
yeah,
already.
Yep. You done burnt the fucking bridge. Let's go. Go ahead. Ask the question.
Well, not really burning the bridge, but like
ask
overall,
the question.
Lonzo, really quick. Do you believe that overall that feelings should prevail over facts, regardless of like the general the feelings
historically that's never turned out well for my people,
and regardless of the situation? Like, do you truly believe that regardless of the situation in general, regardless of the facts, that feelings should prevail? I guess is the question.
There you go.
I would have to be a fucking idiot to say yes to that. No, I do believe that the factual information should prevail. I do believe in some situations that feeling should, because in some situations it would have been far better effect. However, again, historically, feelings prevailing over factual information has not turned out well for me or for anybody.
Sure, I understand the.
Actually, nope. That's it. That's it. We're the judges aren't debating the debaters. But I'm gonna ask you to ask the same question to Game Boy. I'm gonna put that 1 minute on the clock again. If you could put that question out there one more time so we can remember it.
Game Boy, overall, do you believe that regardless of the facts, that feelings should prevail over facts?
Go ahead, Game Boy.
Well, first, this prompt was not a should it be this way, should it be that way. It is a facts don't care about your feelings. But I think generally speaking, it's best to do both, because oftentimes, even if facts work this way or work that way, the emotions of the people affect how those systems, like if we're talking about politics and you say objectively this system's the best, you are talking about ideals, and eventually you're going to have to consider, okay, you can't move the system without certain people's emotions. But if we're simply talking about like the cat's black or Lethy's bald, then of course don't worry about his emotions on that one.
Right, good stuff. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put that back in the chat one last time for the audience to vote. Everybody out there, one more time, if you're just tuning in, click that little link. It costs you nothing. Go ahead and vote. Tell us where you stand on the subject after listening to the debate. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one to Rampage for the first. Judge, do you have a decision, and are you ready to drop it on us?
I feel like it's like the exact same thing that I have to feel last time with like Ancom. I feel like I have to give this to Lonzo. I feel like overall, regardless of what I believe in, I mean, he just out debated Game Boy the entire time. Personally, even though I completely disagree with what he's saying.
Yep, I completely understood. Do you have any specifics, like any specific points or moments where he moved the needle for you?
Well, just like overall, I just feel like Game Boy just did a bad job of showing why facts do overturn feelings, you know. So,
Got it.
You know, that's all.
Okay, right on. And now we're going to go ahead and kick it over to Grid. Mike's all yours, sir. Do you have a decision, and why?
Yeah. I actually went with Game Boy, and it's the exact opposite. First of all, Game Boy had the affirmative. He really didn't have to prove anything. He made his case. He stated the facts, and that was the end of it. It was on Lonzo, I think, to break that down. And all I really heard from Lonzo was a bunch of word salad about facts and feelings, which didn't really counter anything that Game Boy said. It was other than that, I don't really have any. I mean, that's it. I mean, both guys had made good arguments. Both guys had good energy. They matched energy, all of that. I do think that I almost docked Game Boy for some points because he seemed to get really frustrated with Lonzo not accepting the fact that he had already defined it, and there was no point in redefining it. But overall, I think he did a fine job. So that's where I'm at.
All